2, 1. Insane. We made it, guys. Again, a bit scuffed, but here we are. How are you doing, guys?
Doing
Fine,
good.
yeah.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Enjoying the patch, man.
Quick rate of the patch so far.
I would
Honestly,
say it's like a 9 out of 10, kind of,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Oh
yeah.
shit. 9 out of 10. Holy.
Yeah.
What about you,
Definitely
Terek?
best patch like ever in the game, pretty much, I would say.
Yeah, I would say it's like 9 out of 10. Just in terms of in-game, this makes me want to play in-game, whereas before, that wasn't really the case.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
for
Terek
that
playing
alone,
the
it's
end
like-
game.
Terek out of the
You say that-
campaign, you know?
Tarek out of the campaign after 2k hours. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh my god.
He discovers
this?
the endgame systems. Yeah.
I was talking about this with my chat earlier today. There's like not many downsides to this season. It's all fun. It's like really good. Like new mechanics introduced. Like more methods of target farming, everything. And then every day you just log in and it's like, oh, someone discovered a new method of like optimizing farming for this, farming for that, and it's just really fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just wake up to like new strats every day.
Yeah, the strats make it quite fun. There's like compared to how it was before, it's just you only did monolith, nothing else. You still do monolith, but there's like way more things you can optimize and do, and like change your how you farm and all that stuff. So it's quite nice, quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. I haven't really followed like the meta, but aren't all the people just running shrines with the other Woven Echo that empowers that gives like more monsters into the surrounding areas?
Depends what you want to run, what you want to farm,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I mean, so right now there's idols for Weaver idols are bugged. The prophecies for Weaver idols are bugged. So I was trying to find a strategy to like farm as many Weaver idols as possible, and then you can sustain Cemeteries of Reweaving or Sepulchre of the Lost, which is just basically cemeteries or tombs that you instantly go into, and yeah, you can just run those forever and just buy them again and run them forever.
Yeah.
But there's methods for farming runes, idols, certain items with like Clodo's Needle with like Lostwood Foley, and then there's also like the method for farming like multiple exalted items, like double exalteds or triple exalteds. Like that's also like really crazy.
Isn't that
Yeah,
just Nemesis though?
And it's the imprint strat basically. I mean, you can get the helmet
okay,
from
okay.
like or your base imprint from Nemesis, sure. So usually like a helmet body armor, for example, because you want to get the class base on like a Sentinel, for example, the helmet. So you can imprint that, and then you can do the Trove Woven Echo, and you just get like a bunch of more of those imprinted items, and you can kind of like keep upgrading them. You get better and better ones. You imprint better and better ones. And you can also do it with uniques, by the way. You can imprint uniques there and from the cache, and you get just easy LP stuff, for example, also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find like a crazy 3 LP, you put it there, and then you just get more of those, or you find a 2 LP, then you can. It increases. I don't know how it works exactly. I'm waiting. We're still waiting on the data mine for all of this, right? How
that's what I was gonna say.
Works.
I feel like there's all the strategies and there's things that are clearly working. Like again, doing temple, doing shrines, for sure. Doing troves, like all of that, you can literally tell that that's good. Imprints, you can literally tell this is good. Now, to what extent it works and how, like I feel completely clueless personally.
Yeah, for example, like what is the best imprint slot? Like, is it the top left, top right, bottom left? Like, do people know that?
Well, just from my experience, the top right one seems to be really good for something like Red Ring, because it actually procs. Same for like Orient size and stuff. And the cache one is well, you need to have caches, so when you do the cache strat, of course you will get stuff out of those. And I mean, the left one, like the down left one, I don't know. I mean, that's also fine, but yeah, it's not like.
I mean, you need to chain a lot for the bottom left one. Like,
yeah, it's different strategies. I've gotten red rings from the Echoing Riches at the bottom left as well. I have gotten the Warlord's Riches. I feel like it. I mean, I haven't farmed pure champions. I need to test this at some point, but I've had sealed affixes, like sealed set affixes, for example, on this that proc for me. So it does work, but haven't really tested fully juiced up, but
And-
all of them seem to be really, really strong.
And then you also have the question of like, okay, the things that are strong, are they working properly? Because I feel like there's been a few things over the
Yeah.
patch where like people go like, holy shit, guys, I found the best strategy possible. And the servers go down for 5 hours
Yeah.
because people are printing 4 LP items that shouldn't be. Like again, I am.
I feel like we are hearing this story every single patch, though. Like every
mean,
single
by
patch,
now.
there are stuff like that.
Yeah, but by now, I mean, the devs would have heard about like all of these strategies. I think the devs are aware of right now that what we're doing. If there was something like absolutely like, unhealthy for the game or like not intended, I think they would have talked about it or maybe fixed it or maybe again, close the server and say, hey, we need to do a little bug fix here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
That's
guess
something I would give. Like, I would give credit for the devs this patch because they actually responded like super fast. Every time there was something like that, it was patched like in a day, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, look at
and
the previous patch,
COF,
for example. Wasn't the
for
case.
COF, it doesn't really matter either, right, Terek? So, because it's like,
Yeah.
you have all these things, but if you're COF, you're kind of chilling anyway. But again, the economy, again, you do some math, you see the gold that is out there. Again, I don't know how or why, but it looks like prices going 100x overnight and shit. I mean, I'm no economy expert, but it looks fishy,
Yeah, I saw on Reddit someone telling like before the weekend it was like 15 million and then it jumped to like some 400 million gold price or something like that. I don't know. I don't play MG this patch, so but it sounded like something crazy happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just bot or if there's like really an exploit that is just not.
I mean,
like, that we're not aware
like
of.
20 to 30x is probably like an exploit. Like it's not bots like trying to liquidate or something like that.
Yeah. And not only that, but there was that bug where you could get 4 LP items, right? So when people told me on my stream, I went and tested it, right? And I tested it on 2 items. One of them was an Aurora that got 4 LP. And immediately after, I got a Tears of the Forest 4 LP with the Rune of Ascendance bug, right? Yeah. So my Aurora got reverted to 1 LP, right? But my Tears of the Forest is still 4 LP. Which, what I think they did is that they ran a script or something like that, where everything that was high LPL, that had more than, 3 LP or whatever, they just like, they reverted that. But the thing is, like, high LP doesn't necessarily mean bad or cheap, right? So again, I still have my 4 LP Tears of the Forest, which means if you have, again, 4 LP Talons of Valor, 4 LP Traitor's Tongue, 4 LP, all of these items that are super meta because Umbral Blades or what? Like, I still have mine, so yeah.
I was thinking with the strategy about printing like double and triple exalteds, are like our aspirational planners actually aspirational enough? Because I feel like right now, if I'm going for an actual item that I will min-max my character with, it's going to be minimum double tier 7, if not triple exalted.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, we have a double exalt that it's T7 and T6, so you can see which one is the one you want more, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, sure, if you get 4 exalted, I mean, it's not like we need to have it in the guide, I think.
Because you can like absolutely print like those freaking exalteds. Like it's absolutely crazy. It's actually really, really crazy. Like the power level at the top end with those imprint nodes is just going up like crazy.
Yeah.
Which makes uniques even more strong than what we called, no?
Yeah, uniques are crazy. Like I try to make even more than before. I try to make every build have as many uniques as possible, basically. And like if you have an exalted, it has to be like a really good reason, like a Sentinel helmet, for example. It's good example. But yeah, I added like null portent to many builds and stuff like that, and because it's so much easier to get 1 LP on that.
Yeah,
like
no. On trade, there's so many 3 LP null portents and shit. I'm like, what is happening? I guess a lot of people playing too, but damn.
I was thinking about the meta as well, about like rushing the gear now because we have those imprints. So now basically we need to drop that first piece of gear and then you just print it
Snowball,
as many times
yeah.
as you can.
But you need one for every slot, right?
Yeah, you need one
like
for
a
every slot.
Well,
double
that's
tier 7 ring, double
that's
tier
the
7 amulet. And...
that's the thing, right?
Mm.
You probably this is what we did in Orc Guides, which I think we were really right about, where we have a lot of twisted hearts in the build, precisely because it's an item that you're gonna get without any printing or anything like that, and you're just gonna get. So you can use your print slots for rings, for example, or for whatever exalted that your build needs. So you have a bit of a combination of items that you get through regular farming, prophecy farming, and imprint farming. And ideally, I think if you want to min-max itemization and not spend like a shit ton of time gearing, you probably want to do that, right? You want to make sure, okay, my prophecy is going into this, my imprints of the riches is going into that, my exalts are going into this, and my boss farming is going to be this guy, right? And yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like also with the Weaver's Tree, now I really felt like it that you basically only farm 1 or 2 timeline and you can get like gear from everywhere in the game.
Yeah.
And you just like you don't have to split your farms as much as before.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could get like those rares that pops in your echo that comes from dungeons. I got multiple like 2 LP like belts, for example.
Yeah, I play hardcore, so I don't take that note. But if you're,
that's been so OP, bro. I haven't been in a dungeon for like unless I didn't drop the right amount of LP.
Those monsters are so dangerous, though. Like that node to like, have the monsters spawn in your echoes from dungeons. It's so rippy and hardcore, man. It is so rippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you have the soulfire monsters where they're meant to work with the immunity from the dungeon, so their base damage is just out of the wazoo because you're meant to like use your little shield thingy, and obviously you're in empowered 1000 corruption. There's no shield thingy. Oops, 1 million damage. Fucked. They should probably look at that, right? It's probably an oversight. Like, oh yeah, for sure, we forgot about that. Boom.
Yeah.
Or it's the price to pay,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
pretty powerful, yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And behind it, you have the node with the enrage that gives you runes and stuff. It's actually pretty good for like havocs. It's like, like casual, you get havocs also and stuff from like rares.
Yeah.
But,
Is the strat for Havoc, by the way, to just roll the prophecies for runes, general runes?
And that's what I've been hearing, people doing prophecies on runes and
so
clearing them on
quality
tombs.
of life.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't want to roll the prophecies. Like somebody told me in my chat. I was like, bro, no, I'm not gonna do that. There's no way.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how many rerolls you have. Like,
rolling prophecies is not the most fun. I think that's the worst part of the game, honestly, right now.
Yeah,
for COF,
yeah.
it's like
in COF,
it's so bad. Like, and to be honest, I think interacting with the bazaar is not particularly fun either, from what I've seen or what I've heard. So
okay.
Like I hope they make the prophecy rolling just like remove the rolling basically and just have like a list or something. Like, okay, I want to do helmets, so I get helmets. Like why it's annoying right now.
Yeah. Like why the extra clicking? MML in chat is saying that you can get a lot of havocs from Arbor tier 4, where you do the chests with runes and runes. We used to do that with Glyphs of Despair, so it makes sense. Okay, the Canadian got American pizza again.
Holy.
Bina,
pizza.
Is it American pizza?
Yes, it's called American pizza. Yes.
Insane. Talking about this topic about the ceiling of gear, how do you guys feel about it? About the fact that you're just tier 6s basically don't exist. You're shooting exalteds out of the wazoo. Because I personally, I get it that it's kind of fun, but I think it's a bit too much personally.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
I feel like
more difficult content or something, or just if we get how every patch they basically boost the power level of monsters, their health, their damage, and everything, but they don't. It's not like on the front page of the patch notes. It's like maybe like small characters at the end. Oh, also boost like buff monsters.
They always
by,
do that.
7.5% across the board.
but to me, it's not even about that. It's about the fact that I like having to choose what my tier 7 is. You know, I like having to choose. Oh, am I gonna go for tier 7 crit or tier 7 multi, or am I gonna go for attack speed or flat damage? So I could see one tier 7 prefix and one tier 7 suffix being like a good thing to aim at, because then you don't have to choose between defense and offense, because I think that's something the devs don't want us to do. They want us to, you know, be able to build both without feeling we have to choose. But the fact that you can just get everything tier 7, not only that, but if you get a single tier 7, you feel like, oh, but it's not 2 tier 7, so shit, you know, like.
Yeah, but you have to farm your runes of Havoc, of Redemption. You have to. I mean, it's more farming to optimize, but the power level at the top end is higher, right? I think it's fine. I personally think it's fine.
I don't like the ramp though. It's way too fast.
The ramp is there's no ramp. There's like
they tried to address it. They tried to address it this patch, and it has zero impact on the actual experience. Like you go from rares to like exalted when you reach monos, and when you reach empower, you go from T6 to T7. That's literally it. And then after that, you have like double T6 or double T7 and stuff like.
Well, and on twink characters, it's even worse, right? Because I like leveling twinks. I think it's pretty fucking fun, right? Yeah. Running around in a campaign with 2k health, like I'm up for it. But the fact that it's like you twink till level 80, and then at 80 you twink again with the endgame twink, and then you're just looking for multiple tier 7 bullshit, and I don't know. I kind of, maybe I'm a bit like nostalgic, but I do like a game where rares and tier 6s and half a place. You know, it's just so fast. Everything, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just I mean the fact that we get the end game planner like basically instantly, like 1 LP items. Like, I actually think many people stop there. Like they get their 1 LP set of gear, guaranteed slams, and then they play the build, and maybe they kill Uber Aberrot if the build can do it, and then they make a different build. Like sure, you can min-max it a lot. Like it's not min-max at all at that point, but that level of power is already like crazy. You know?
And to be honest, if your build can't do Uber Aberot with the endgame planner, will it be able to do it if you get an extra tier 7?
I mean, it depends, but
you know, if your build sucks, you know, like if the build is good, you should do it with the endgame planner because it's already a lot of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the sense of progression that is like the dopamine hit that you get from getting like higher and higher types of gear, like going from rares to exalted to 1T6 to 1T7, then 1T7 and 1T6. It's not there anymore. Like it's you rush too fast to that point.
And with the guaranteed slams, which again we all agree that they feel good, right? We all agree that they're here to stay. It's good. But oh brother, like that speeds up a lot.
It's funny how we're like, let's craft like a 1 LP null portent, like a starting item, you know, like it's kind of funny. I don't know, it's interesting. Like,
I kind of thought that we're getting exalteds too fast. I think like normal monos, you should not see exalteds at all. Maybe you start seeing tier 6 exalt in level 90 timelines rather than tier 7s.
I agree.
And then past like 300 corruption, after this, now you start seeing tier 7s. And now you're getting ready. You're getting closer to Uber Aberot, right? You basically kill regular Aberot on tier 6, and then after that you can start farming your tier 7s, and then your double tier 7s and triple and whatever else, right? I think that would be a better kind of like path to progression of your character. If you don't start seeing exalteds raining from the sky like crazy as soon as you hit monos, basically.
It's so much, brother. And with the lizards and everything, like, bro, like...
Yeah.
It's crazy,
There was someone in chat, like, bro, there was someone saying in chat that they needed to buff the loot early on. What I want them to do is basically, like... Can I remove the loot lizards? I don't really like them too much. Like, it's still too present in the game.
You mean early in the campaign?
Yeah, early. Because, like, all of your crafting mats come from loot lizards. All of them. Like 99% of them, they come... I'm exaggerating, but it's like 95% of your crafting mats come from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish it was... Like, they would go down a bit more than what they had with this patch. And they would up the sources of crafting mats and loot from, like, just the regular mobs in the campaign.
Yeah.
To equalize this a bit more, but it doesn't feel like all of the like I'm saying this as a min-maxer because I craft a lot on the campaign, but like you're gonna see if you look really closely to the campaign, like all of your crafting mats are gonna come from the loot lizards.
Which I guess it ties to the game is too easy argument that I've been hearing a lot. I don't know if you guys wanna
Dude,
touch a bit on that.
who is saying this? Who thinks the game is too easy? Honestly, who?
The
Who?
people
I mean, Reddit,
playing
you see it on Reddit and stuff. You know,
people
going
playing
forward.
Judgment, you know.
Yeah, like you play Judgment and you say the game is easy, and Erasing Strike, the game is easy. I mean, you know.
Or Blade
game
or
isn't the
Falconer.
hardest,
You know?
Yeah, the game is harder than it ever was, ever before.
I agree.
Like it's the hardest state of the game we have so far.
But
It's crazy.
people also have access to the best builds that they ever existed, pretty much. You know?
Yeah, and with the best
You know-
gear, you can like
Yeah,
how
and
easy
also-
to get gear.
People
Yeah.
are doing a campaign, killing every single monster on their way, like like just casually killing everything. Of course, you'll be over leveled. Of course, it's gonna be easy. If you just, like just blast a little bit, not even blast. If you just, go straight to the next objective while killing some monsters along the way, you will feel a big power spike once you get to the what is it? I think it's chapter 3 or something. When you get to the other era, chapter 4, and then when you get to the desert area, and then when you get to the fire area, and then and then when you get to monos, like there's big power spikes all throughout the campaign. Where
I'm glad.
if you're not ready, you're getting blasted. Like,
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm glad that Rax said exactly this. What I've been saying for like all the time I've been playing, that people were saying like the campaign is too easy. Rax literally said, if you go fast in this game, the faster that you go, the harder it's gonna be. So these games allow you the choice of making the campaign harder if you want to. But if you don't want the campaign to be hard, you can just farm the area that you're in, over level, over gear, and the campaign is going to be easy. It depends on what you want to do with the game. I don't want a game that is too restrictive, like where you cannot, like, for example, speedrun like I do, or you cannot just chill for new players.
And you definitely
make
want to
it
have
harder-
that, right? You definitely want to have that, because then if someone comes from a game, they're not super skilled, they don't know anything, you want them to still be able to succeed, even if they're super slow with their own build and shit. You still want that, because that's good, it's healthy for the game. Even though, for us, it would be great if people needed us only and we'll make tons of money. But for the game, it's better if that's not the case, right? Period.
Yeah.
Now,
But I think it's new player also that says
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because once you know that you can go faster, you actually realize that you can make the game can be really hard sometimes.
but, and people are talking about Uber Avaroth too. It's like, again,
Yeah.
Uber Avaroth race, in hardcore. And, I mean, that race, if things like Judgment and were available, it's still going on, bro. Like, people don't realize how crazy that boss is. And again, it looks very easy now when you look at it and you go, oh, of course, Judgment is gonna be so easy at it. But that's a lot of thinking and looking at skills and thinking, okay, but what skill is gonna be good, blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, again, since the game launched, it's been like what, like a week and a half now or something. I've seen basically one build, right? The whip lock that can kill Uber Avaroth that we didn't showcase ourselves, basically. And it is a build that has been theory crafted before. The only reason it wasn't pushed by any content creator before, it's because the item was bugged. It wasn't working. But I definitely tried making it work before, because the item looks insane on paper, and it is, right?
the build is crazy, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
It's just made out of paper. I don't know if we can make this tanky, but
Working on it.
Yeah, I mean, the people who play the build, they say it's like mostly made for the Uber boss. Like that's the whole point of the build. Like the way they build it is it's for the Uber fight. But maybe you can make it a bit better somehow for like mapping and stuff. But
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got vindicated today also about this. I was watching this video by Race Kitty, and apparently he was forced by his chat to play Abomination. And in the beginning of the video, the first thing he says is like, guys, don't play fucking Raid Lord when this exists. And I was like, Yes, I feel so vindicated. Because I've been saying this in our own chats, right, about Raid Lord. I was like, guys, we're not making Raid Lords. Fuck this shit. And I'm so glad that the guy who basically made it popular agrees. It's just a better Raid Lord, pretty much. So that felt nice. Any other feelings of vindication you guys had over the patch and looking at what people play, etc.?
I mean, the fact that most people seem to play Maxroll build is nice, obviously. Judgment, Erasing Strike, Warpath, really popular ones. Heartseeker also. I mean, Heartseeker, people play different versions, some Maxroll ones, some other ones, but I mean, it's nice to see that people enjoy the builds and the patch is good and all that stuff, so yeah.
I found it pretty cool that someone went actually with crows on Uber Abroth in hardcore and actually killed it. Cemeteries. Yeah, it's like.
Did you get your
among
tax? Did you get your tax? Your PayPal? Your boop? No? 20% tax or something? No?
20% tax. Nobody. I mean, he was really chill about it. I mean, after his win, he went. He came on my chat. He was like, "Hey man, thanks for the build. It was amazing, crazy build." So
it's funny. I was talking with in CT the other day with Cheese basically, and he was talking about how like it was basically kind of our fault that everyone played those builds, and because we kind of pushed them on the previous podcast and all that, right? And I was saying that, to be honest, we talk so openly about what we thought was OP because people never fucking listen to us. They just think we're retarded or something. So the fact that everyone actually listened to us when money was on the line was kind of like, huh, what? Okay. And the same thing goes for crows, right? Like, interesting. Money was on the line. They actually did listen.
Yeah, I got personally, I got like overwhelmingly like positive feedback from all the leveling guides.
Well, they just want more, no? They just want more.
They want one for every mastery, or like 15. So have fun making it.
Calm down. So yeah, it was quite surprising. I didn't got a single bad feedback, like just positive. And one thing that I saw is that every like content creator that actually played my leveling builds, they all said like positive things about it. So I'm pretty happy with that.
One thing though for next patch, I think we should try to get more masteries covered, because if you play the leveling build for too long, for example, the respec costs for the mastery is like pretty damn expensive actually.
Yeah.
And so this happened to me. I was like, man, like this, I would love to just play like as the best, the best leveling setup for a long time, and then swap maybe at level 86, because that's when you get Vessel of Strife, for example. But like the gold cost is too high, basically. So having one per mastery would be pretty nice.
I think it's just the balance of that. We should give some feedback to the devs so they adjust it, because I think there is the gap between farming like 500 corruption, 1k corruption, and like unlocking empowered, and between unlocking empowered and having like the end game min-max farm, like you're not going to farm a lot of gold, so it still costs a lot, right? It scales like I don't think it scales linearly. It scales like
no, it ramps.
Yeah, it ramps, and that ramp is pretty tough in terms of gold.
People are asking on chat like, what do we think about the Maxroll impacting the race a bit? And basically, I was talking about this the other day. I don't know, with I think with Karen it was or something. And I was thinking, you guys need to also keep in mind that all the builds that we show on Maxroll, those are builds that we have showcased on CT, right? So all the cities, which there are thousands of cities, have seen. So if we don't make them public for everyone to see, then you also have the problem of like someone who's on CT can transfer that information and these unlisted videos into people. So then some people know the builds who are basically actively talking to someone on MDA, and someone who's actually following the rules and is not talking with anyone under NDA, obviously breaking the rules, doesn't have access to that information. So because those builds are known by everyone in CT, we have two choices. We keep it to ourselves, and then we don't know who's spreading information and who's getting under the table information, which again, a lot of the people who race, they're not streamers, they're not content creators, and they might have an inside information. They might have a friend who's on city, whatever it is. So we have two options. We either make that public to everyone early so they can make an educated decision, or we ignore it and then it's unfair, right? So again, and at the same time, keep in mind the game is offline also. So if people wanted to go and find this on their own, they could just do that with tools that are available in offline really fast and really easy. So yeah, that wouldn't be good either. So which you can still do that. So I don't think we really, if anything, we only accelerated certain things and certain knowledge, and we made the race even. If anything, so if anything, we made it competitive. If anything, because everyone was fighting with the same tools.
And people are saying also, I see something in chat that the theory crafting was removed from launch because of this, but it is actually not true. While this might be true for some, because we're releasing those, like how long was it? Was it like 1 week prior to the patch? Like there is still room. Like anyone who is familiar with Last Epoch and the class they're playing and the changes will be able to kind of like make the same informed decisions and like figure out what would be okay. They changed this thing in Devouring Orb, allowing us to auto cast them, and they changed this node, allowing us Void Essences. You make the connections if you know the game. Of course, if you play, if you're mainly coming from another game and jumping into LE because there's a new patch and because of the hype for it, but you don't really have the deep knowledge of Last Epoch like some other players have. You won't be able to figure it out as easily. But if you are invested in Last Epoch, the theory crafting aspect is still there. You don't have to look at the builds that are there. Of course, it's easier if you do, but there's always some new things to discover in LE. And like out of all the builds that we have here, I am sure that there are some other builds that are absolutely amazing that we don't have. Theory crafting still exists, even though we have like a lot of really strong builds.
And again, this is another side. We can sidetrack into this topic actually, where I actually think that the people who come up with the best builds and the strongest things are basically still the same people, Because for example, I was talking this in my stream the other day, and people were saying how like Mage is dead and Sentinel is strong and blah blah blah. And I was talking about how like if you actually looked at what changed on those classes, right? Nothing really changed. It's just like suddenly people realized that some things that were thought they were really, really good, they were not. And some things that didn't see a need to be played because there was no challenge that needed those requirements in terms of tankiness were suddenly good. But again, people talk about theory crafting and all that and spoiling the patch. Except the new skills like Heartseeker and stuff, I don't think we have a single build in Maxroll that you couldn't play last patch, right? At all. And that was completely playable and at least 80% as strong as what it is this patch. So these builds were there last patch. No one pushed them, no one min-maxed them, and then you had 5 guys who sit every day for 2 months theory crafting, and that's why the builds look so good. They were always good. It's just people are clueless, including ourselves. We were clueless too, clearly. So no, I don't know what you guys think about this. Like the entire Mage, the entire Mage versus. Actually, we were so surprised, right? Because we were testing. We basically, when we wanted to make our tier list, we got a lot of criticism, right, on previous patches. So we were just like, you know what? We're gonna set up certain parameters when it comes to DPS, when it comes to tankiness, when it comes to clearing, and all the builds that don't make the cut, they're gonna go to the drain, right? And we archived like 20 builds or some shit. And during that process, we actually realized that a lot of the builds that people think are the best builds of previous patches, they were actually pretty meh. And we also realized that some builds that people considered bad, they're actually giga builds. For example, Hydra Hedron, right? I almost I mean, you guys can talk about this, but we got almost gaslighted into archiving Hydra because of how many people complained about Hydra being shit. Turns out, without any changes, Hydra is the only mage that has killed Uber Abaroth. Was
Is
Hydra
there
bad?
another? Is there another mage build that has killed it?
I don't think
Is it
on
really-
live yet. I
No,
don't think on live yet.
Shadow Strike,
Surely
no?
someone killed it with Shatter Strike, right? Surely.
I mean, is that? I don't think there has been. I've seen group play with Shatter Strike.
I think I saw a clip of like Shadow Strike kill it, but
I've seen Snap. But I mean, we knew Shatter Strike, right? Shatter Strike is like
yeah.
melee. Like I was talking casters, right? Excuse the technicality.
Yeah.
Everyone knew Shatter Strike, was gonna kill it because Shatter Strike was one-shotting normal Abaroth, right? And everyone knew that.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I'm kind of torn between the fact that City is not public and the fact that we can release content, because that's kind of weird position. But I mean, I'm gonna I'm gonna profit from it, right? But yeah, it's kind of a, like, if you compare it to Diablo 3 or like PoE or that kind of stuff, Ellie is kind of unique in that sense, right? I don't think there's another RPG like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, the CD thing is it's up to the devs, like
Yeah.
if they let us do it, they let us do it, and if they don't, they don't. So of course we go by the rules.
And people are acting like the city thing too. The people are acting like most of the 99 of the content creators are not on city, right? Like because most content creators are on city. They just don't do anything. They just ignore it. They're just chilling, and they just want. They're not theory crafting. They're not doing anything. They just get some info for the patch to make YouTube videos and then call it a day. So yeah, I mean, a personal opinion, I think it should be open for everyone, like and let everyone theory craft and see who comes with the best builds. No, boom.
I think also for us, like, it's we're kind of letting us like, how do you say that? Like all the races and stuff, we cannot do them because we're in part of city. So, and we are part of the like most degenerate players of the, of the game. We're like, bro, we can't even do those events and stuff. So it's kind of
Yeah, if at least CT was open for like maybe 2 weeks prior, or like 2 weeks prior to the patch or something, or
Yeah, for sure.
At least it would give everyone the option to like go in and like test things in game rather than just on paper. And
Yeah.
like Tarek said, it would also give us the option to, if everyone has access, everyone can participate in races. So that's fun too.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you're someone who doesn't like that and doesn't want to see guides and wants to still do that, I mean, it's actually pretty simple. You just don't look at it. Like the first time I played PoE 2, I just played blind, didn't open Maxroll, and then on my second character, I rolled a blinding arrow and I destroyed the game. Boom, like you can do that in any game, I feel. So
yeah. I think the problem is more for people who watch us, like content creators that are gonna use our guides. It's mostly like that, I believe. But yeah, just don't watch the guy.
And what do you guys think about the power thingy? Was Mage just got it and Sentinel suddenly is Giga out of nowhere, or what do you guys think about that?
I mean, Sentinel is Giga. Like we can agree that Sentinel is Giga,
But wasn't it Giga?
I mean, wait, it's way more Giga than before. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, again, a lot of the Giga builds were Giga before. They just people didn't play them, no? Like,
but
I mean,
like Erasing Strike is better, and like Warpath is way better, and like
Warpath for sure got a big boost.
Those are the two like really big ones. Like I don't think Erasing Strike needed like is it 100% or 50% more damage?
Yeah, it didn't.
I think it's 100% if you have
100% more.
Like did it need double damage? I don't think so.
Nope.
It was already very popular last patch. I mean, they did this to like give it the power that they're removing with Volta Reversal, but
yeah, those builds didn't even use it. That's the thing.
No, it did, but it.
Yeah, but I mean, just the way Sentinel is way better, and then you also buff the skills, like Erasing Strike.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Even like a more kind of like A-tier build, like a Javelin build. I mean, it's still crazy, like Sentinel is really good. You can't ignore that. So.
What about Mage? Do you guys think it used to be so good and now it's bad just because they removed Static Orb and because, or was Mage always trash and was it being held together by Static Orb doing too much damage? Because I feel every mage build end up being whatever the fuck you're doing, and static orb for single target. No, well, and otherwise it was just low DPS.
True.
Like,
Mm.
so I feel like the entire class was held together by static orb being overpowered.
You would watch Frozen Sentinel. In this guide, it will say, "Hey, for single target, pick this skill called."
Yeah, and if you
Static
don't pick
Orb.
it, you do fireball level DPS. And it's like such.
That was pre 1.2 mage experience.
Mhm.
And like Shadow Strike got nerfed, but it's still doing like. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird.
I think that we have a much better understanding of comparison between builds and the damage that they
Yeah.
deal because we spend
Yeah,
more time.
it's not
testing.
not only about the damage, of course. I mean, we talk about this like in the last podcast, I think, of tankiness.
Mhm.
It's a thing like, why would you play the mage? Sure, I mean, there's good mage build, but why would you play mage when you can play a Sentinel that does the same damage and it can't die to anything basically? So the tankiness is also like crazy, out of control.
That's the big difference,
Yeah.
no, between builds. Like damage overall, you can do damage on a lot of things, but if you can also be immortal, while doing so,
Yeah.
just pick the immortal build.
Let's say
Yeah.
this patch was like balancing the damage. I hope next patch is gonna be balancing the survivability or something.
Have you
Nerf
guys
block?
block? Bro, you're talking to the right person. You know what I think.
Nerf block? No, I
Okay.
don't know.
I'm just saying.
Imagine if block cannot be capped at 100%.
I don't do that.
I actually
please.
hate that.
Yeah, just
imagine.
reduce the curve,
Bro,
you know?
what they need to do with block is very simple. Like the block curve, you guys can see it on the screen, right?
Yeah, it's a bit like scuffed the screen.
Yeah, let me see. Huh. 1 second.
What is
Well,
Bo
we
doing?
we can see it though, but it's
1 second.
fine,
1
it's
second.
fine, it's
Too
fine.
much on
So
the left.
the block
on the right side.
curve, right, is like this. And the problem right now is like you get like 2000 block effect, and it's 50% damage reduction. And 2000 block effect is basically you
It's
wearing a
nothing.
shield, right?
Yeah.
I think they need to. I think like 3000 block effect should be like 30% less damage taken. And at the moment it's
something
60.
like that. Yeah. And it's good that you can get max block chance because then it's reliable. Like if you could only get like I don't know 50% chance, who cares then? It's just not
Yeah,
like for hardcore
like,
and stuff. It's
you
not reliable.
don't want that. You want it to be reliable. You just don't want it to be reliable and immunity.
Yeah.
Like
And now also the block effect applies to Dot with the Machasa shield, which is also a
it's
completely
crazy.
stupid shield. So
So I think if they make it so like let's just say 6000 block is like 50%, then you're really gonna feel like Giga on a character that goes full block, idols, block effect, all that shit, and there's actually gonna be differences. But the fact that right now, basically any fucking character can get 2000 block effect, and you're just like, oh, you deal half damage, it's just like it's
You
way
deal 12% less damage while wielding a shield.
hell no.
Like
Hell
this is
no.
like the dual wielding thing. It's so stupid. I feel that dual wielding increases your damage taken. It was 15. They nerfed it to 12. They nerfed it to what is it 9 right now?
Yeah,
and it's
9.
like you're already giving up on the option of using a shield. Like it's I don't know. You're giving up on survivability already for more damage. It's an active choice that you're making. Why would you need to like take more damage while dual wielding?
Yeah, and you could also go two-handed, by the way. So
yeah.
I
I don't feel like it makes a lot of sense.
If anything, you should get parry chance with dual wielding. They should give it like some nice some. I could see something like if you go dual wield, for example, maybe you have less armor or something. It makes sense. You're a bit more agile. You're wearing like light armor. Like if they want to keep the fantasy of it, like hurt me in a place where I can mitigate somehow. Because again, if you're a rogue and you get less armor, maybe you just give up on armor completely, right? And you go full dodge and full glancing blow on these things. But the fact that you just like no matter what, 8% damage or whatever it is, it's just like, fuck that. It's so bad.
Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like that. I see in chat it's because of two-handers, but two-handers you mitigate that with other things. Two-hander you could
Yeah.
use Titan Heart, for example. You can use a two-hander with a shield on Forge Guard. You can use there's other uses for two-handers, and then also that dual wielding equals 8 LP, for example, like double the stats. But the stats on two-handers are way higher, like by default as well. So that's
Yeah. And also some of the two-handers might be a bit too strong, like the splitter for like mana stacking builds. Maybe Clotos Needle is of course crazy. Like maybe that's also a thing about it. Like just the uniques are so good for two-handed also.
I think that weapon needs nerfed. LP is too easy on.
Yeah, maybe like
World
100
Splitter.
LPL on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should get 1 LP on that and be happy. Like the fact that you can
Yeah.
get 3, and I've seen many of those already. It's just it's too much, And again, that weapon has so many good stats to begin with. And I don't know. I just feel like, is it really bad if dual wielding again does damage and goes a bit crazy, and it's fun, bro. Dual wielding is cool.
Yeah.
Like why are you punishing me for being cool? If anything, they could give a buff to 200 weapons, right? Maybe like 200 weapons, you get like give it like some defensive buff to compensate for it or something. I don't know. Like you're less likely to be
like on
stunned
every,
or something. I don't know. Who cares? More area. Who something. But
implicit parry chance on every two-handed weapon.
yeah. Like dual wielding is fucking sick, bro. Like it's cool, and you're it's such a cool fantasy. You can combine different weapons. There's so much creativity to be had, and I don't know, when I theory craft a build, unless I'm playing a Primalist or something, because you kind of have the art to offset it. If I'm dual wielding, I'm like, next. I'm not interested. Next build. Like I've been watching all these multi-strike builds, and people say like, oh, you should try multi-strike Smite. It's so much better than Smite. And I open up the planner, and they're dual wielding Aurelis and a wand. I was like, all right, so you're just going one shot. Next, like I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to die. So
dual wielding is like equipping a fighting chance glove. You take more damage. Like
hell
who uses fighting chance?
Especially because again,
except me on speed builds, like
and tying up to what you say, Bina, especially because the game is fucking hard now. Like people are on high copium thinking it's not like I died today on my Lich, bro. I had one of these fucking rat champions, and he had like power, he becomes stronger the longer he's been fighting or whatever, more powerful. So basically does 100 increased damage. He did like to me, like he threw like some icicles to me, and I ticked for 3k damage at 250 corruption with on a Lich with Death Seal, and double red rings and Grasp of the Blood Mage, and he just ticked me for 3k, So
that's why. But that was a dot though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got hit by the hits 600, and then the frostbite ticked for 3k.
Yeah, that's why right now I was like, I'm playing hardcore, and I'm wondering, okay, what boots do I use? Even though I'm playing Warpath, do I want to use the Advent Erased for 35% .dr? Because why not take this 35% DR on boots?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll lose. I mean, you do lose a lot. I'm not using them right now, but I think as I go into Empowered, I might swap to Advent Erased. It's just dot mitigation is so important, even if they nerf dots in the end game, and across the board.
Dude, the nerfing dots is so cap. Like they're still deadly, bro. Like that change didn't change anything. You're still gonna die.
It's just like
it got upset by how powerful champions are, really, right? So
I don't know. Dot mitigation is so important. Yeah, so important.
Yeah. Those boots are actually secretly were OP all this time, but
that's the thing. Too. Those boots have been in the game for how long?
Of course, now that you can get Weaver's Will easier and you get lucky chance and all that, it makes it better. But yeah.
And you can re-roll them. You can divine them, basically. So
yeah, that's nice.
And you get Perma Haste with the Uber Relic if you have it, so that's also nice, of course, with the boots. So,
Uber Relic, holy.
Yeah, that one is pretty
now, yeah, actually, I will definitely use those. Actually,
Yeah, kind of like no reason. I mean, you lose some movement speed, but yeah, no reason not to use.
I don't know, 35 DR, you know, it's not like 10, 10, 10. It's like a big 35 DR there. It's like already so massive.
Yeah,
Mm.
no.
Yeah, it's so.
I think that is one
so
part
good.
of itemization that I see a lot of builds not invest at all into dot mitigation. And I think playing a hardcore just really made me realize that, hey man, like dot mitigation is like more important than hit mitigation almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
Like
it's so
what usually
sudden.
kills you? What usually kills you? Most like it's very often a dot, a dragon breath attack that has increased damage and whatnot, or deadly, and
Uh,
you know, like
I also think it's because dots are very unexpected a lot of the times. Like you're fighting an enemy, that enemy normally never ignites you or anything, and then because he has like a possessed mod or some shit that makes it poison on hit, suddenly like a monster that you normally only care about like the big hit, like you know the big AOE or whatever. Suddenly now he can actually kill you with some fucking AOE effect that goes off randomly and you don't even know where it's coming from. Yeah. I definitely die to that kind of stuff all the time. Just like the stuff that is random. Well, all the time. You know, my 2 deaths. Obviously, I don't die all the time. Like Bina.
hey, actually, I was gonna say I don't die anymore, but I think I'm on my 8th character so
Oh
far.
my god!
Holy.
It's good. It's good. I don't know. I am addicted. I'm addicted.
Yeah, it does feel when you delete the character, it definitely feels special. Huh?
I don't delete them. I'll keep them all throughout the season. Hopefully, I don't have more than 20.
You're
but,
gonna, I mean, Bina, you're gonna run off the character stash soon, like another week.
I mean, I keep deleting my legacy characters because
Oh
I'm already
no!
out.
Oh no!
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah.
It makes you think way more about the important choices so that you
Yeah.
never die, right? So before, like for example, if you're playing softcore, I can understand. You'll die once every blue moon. You'll die to a dot here and there. It doesn't really matter that much. But when you're hardcore and like every single piece of gear and every roll matters because you cannot die, then it makes a lot of sense to invest into dot mitigation. Like eternal gauntlets with dot mitigation on them as well as a prefix experimental with the boots with maybe the amulet as well. Champion regalia and sentinel makes a lot of sense too for even more armor applies to dots, right? So all of these I can see being active choices that you make. It just makes the build better. Even in softcore, it would make the build better.
Yeah. I was gonna say like if you make like a good hardcore build, you're gonna also make a better softcore build with the same kind of like principles. So and even though I mostly used to play softcore and still do quite a bit of softcore, like I want to be tanky. I don't want to die, even a softcore. So we want to make like a nice balanced build. And I think Bina here is realizing that now that he's learning quite a bit with the hardcore
dying
thing.
is bad.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
People are asking,
yeah.
what is the build that has surprised you the most that you have not think of? So new builds.
Hentai build for sure.
Yeah, it has to be that one, right? Yeah.
What is that build?
The whip build
Spine
with
of
the
Malantros.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised because I tried making that build in the past, so I was just surprised that it worked. I guess that the item was not bugged.
Yeah.
But Antons did some pretty interesting stuff. Did you guys know that acid skin at the moment it doesn't work? It doesn't take into account singularity.
Yeah, I saw a singularity on the plan and I was like, what?
Yeah, so basically,
Okay, interesting.
you're
because it says on the node that it's not,
Right.
it doesn't get affected by any of your crit stats. So like basically it counts out singularity too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not intended, but at the moment it's working like that. So basically, singularity is removing your base crit, right? Even though the item states you cannot crit, right? Technically, you are applying acid skin to them, and they are 100% critable, right?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be able to crit them still because you know, the item says you cannot crit, you cannot inflict critical stractions, and you are the one inflicting them, even though not through your crit chance, but through that debuff. And I'm pretty sure it works like that with things like crit vulnerability and things like that, right? So that's my logic there.
Yeah.
But at the moment it's working.
Spiders.
Yeah.
So at the moment it's working. So
Yeah.
now would
It's-
I
I mean,
would
I-
I do that over tier 7 you know, damage taken converted to well, the HP converted to ward on the gloves, which he's not getting in order to benefit from that, because he needs enough leech on his gloves. I wouldn't probably do that, but so yeah, but the
I think
build
that
is pretty
that,
good.
that
It's pretty cool.
that interaction between acid skin and like the singularity and stuff is it's amazing, and I think it should stay. I mean, I think it's a surprise that like even if it was not intended by the devs, I think they should. They are probably looking at this and they're like, holy crap, this is so cool. Let's keep this. You know?
They should probably just
Like-
rename it to like you have 0% critical stractions, right? And if that's the case, then
Yeah.
suddenly,
Yeah. I mean, at least there's one use for singularity in the game, you know. So,
hey, Wait, what about current bill? You know, current bill smite. No.
I mean, it's not doing much there, right? I mean, I guess it's some free damage in a way, singularity if you don't crit damage over time.
Yeah.
So what other builds are there that are like?
To be honest, that's
new
the only build that I think looks good. Honestly, like I've seen other stuff that is interesting. Like again, the Frozen Sentinel stuff. It's okay, you know, and with the bugs and stuff, it can get pretty good. But then again, I look at erasing and I look at the things that are super, and again, that build is even struggling with Uber Hour still, right?
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
it's just
comparing
like,
stuff to
it's
Erasing
good,
Strike
cool
is kind
concept, just not quite there, I think.
Yeah, but like comparing to Erasing Strike, it's kind of like, well, at that point you can't play anything else
Yeah,
almost. Because that's kind of how I actually feel when I play it. So it's actually, the balance is hurting me a bit because the build is like too good. So, yeah.
There's one build that I've been looking at is the Witchfire, but I haven't seen anybody really pushing it. But Witchfire is actually, from my testing, I talked a bit with Bina, is actually the best speed farmer build in the game if you can deal
With
enough
the
damage.
AoE stuff.
Yeah, because you just walk and everything around you dies. Like it's so optimized. It's even better than like any build in the game. Like even better than Warpath and stuff. But you cannot push as high as Warpath. That's the thing. Like if you really want to push like super high, Warpath is going to be better.
Yeah,
that's a problem. Is like the damage of it is like it's the true RF skill basically, right? You just have like that massive AOE around you, but
I pushed it at like I could push it at like 800k, 1 million DPS. That was it. But I mean, probably some other people can push it further. I don't know.
I had a very interesting discussion on CT. I don't know if you guys remember, with some guy. It was interesting, where we were arguing if how much damage it could do, and yeah, well, it was funny. Just, those who know, you know. Don't want to flame anyone.
Yeah, I've seen Curse Boy Naked America, but he didn't push it as far as I was StoryCrafting it. So I want to see someone like really min-maxing it, because the thing is, if you play that version of the build with Witchfire, you do not want to rely on stuff like the Firestarter Torch, where you have to hit enemies to get the buff, like to get like spreading flames. I want a version where I proc the Witchfire buff,
you just walk,
and then I just run.
Yeah.
I just run and it kills everything. That's the DPS I'm counting. Because otherwise you can cheat on that. Like you can have like some other multipliers.
Is it any good for bosses or just like speed farming maps or?
No, it's just speed farming. I mean, you could probably like do some bossing, but you would. The thing is, you don't need to spec any skill. You just use Chaos Bolt because it's fire and necrotic, because you need both.
To proc the overloads.
Yeah, the two overloads, the ignite and damned. So you need to use a fire and a necrotic skill. But outside of that, you can play whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know. It's again, is one of those, like, I can see Whiplock making sense to being added on Maxroll just because it can do Uber, you know, it's a very cool, builds very differently, has a cool unique. Like, I could see us adding that soonish, right? But again, from our testing from Torment and Witchfire, it just looks like if you want to play that kind of build, you're just chilling with Torment, no, pretty much still.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen. Again, I've seen a bunch of like Smite stuff that I think it looks pretty good, like the dot versions with Fisher and stuff. They look okay early game, right?
Yeah, like Karn was doing that for the race, and I think it's really good for that. Like early game, kind of like bad gear and like stuff like that. It's like, you don't need that much DPS for farming mobs, like you know, like echoes. It's fine for that, and it can be decent AOE also with the Fisher because it has a bit of like an AOE.
Yeah.
So it's a decent setup for sure.
But then eventually, are you gonna
Then eventually just swap to
outscale?
Void Knight.
Yeah, then you go VK and crit, and it scales better and way more single target and all that. But
Yeah.
It's just that you can't really compete with like, you know, crit multi on that build.
Yeah.
In the end game, it's you're
And
kind of like
then-
missing that scaling vector there.
Then I've seen the again the multi-strike stuff, and again it's like we had this debate with Volka actually quite a bit. We tested quite a bit of multi-strike where we're like, okay, we could do smite stuff, but if you want mana to feel good and do damage, you have to go dual wield. So then it's not a build. Then you can because you just die and you're just gonna get fucked, right? Because we know that the game was doing so much damage and we know defenses were important. And again, you could just play regular smite, do similar damage, and being mortal, right? And then you also have the situation where, okay, you could just go multi-strike with the shotgun node and all that, but Void Knight, but then mana can become a problem. And at that point, why not just play Rife, right? And do more damage, because Rife does more damage. So it was one of these things where, like, really cool build, definitely playable. But if you compare it to what it's trying to achieve on all the versions, you know, it's just not, again, not good. Yeah. And if you're gonna make Misha's talking, why not just go mana well? Or if you go mana stacker, why not just play fucking Erasing Strike?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's the thing.
Like if you're gonna build it like that, like, so there's basically no reason to play it other than it looks cool, right? And if that's the only reason to play a build, I don't know if it should be in the list. You know what I'm saying? TLDR.
Yeah, we don't really want to have like duplicate builds, like the same thing, but like we want to have like different types of builds.
And that's actually why we went. People are asking what about hardcore and stuff, and I said that's actually why we went for the Forge Guard, right? Because multi-strike was actually one of those builds where on Forge Guard made a lot of sense, right? Because you went physical. You scale the physical portion of multi-strike. That is a really big multiplier. You're giga tanky with the shields, blah, blah, blah. You wear a spear, you wear a shield. And again, the moment they fix that node, right? The node that gives you the, what is it called? Forge Master Smite, which at the moment is applying double the debuffs. The moment they fix this, I think Forge Guard will have quite a bit of potential, I think.
I don't think this is bugged for everything, it seems, at least from my testing, but it's, like people are saying it might be bugged for just some skills, but I mean, hopefully they fix it soon anyways, so.
Yeah, that's another problem with, for example, any build where you use, for example, we had this debate versus Paladin Void Smite versus Void Knight Smite. It's like on Paladin, you kind of want to be low mana, right? So if you build into devotion and that stuff, but then if you do that, then going to Seed of Yggdrasil is not as appealing, because obviously if you don't have mana, then such, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly,
I think for the smite stuff, it makes sense to, like, if you want to play Paladin, you do the Karn setup basically with the Fisher and like damage over time, kind of like low gear investment. And then if you want to go higher, you want to do like Uber and stuff with smite, then you do smite
Crit,
3k more damage and all that.
Then I've seen a lot of bad builds. I tell you about that. I've seen a lot of bad builds. Fucking I don't know, hybrids and stuff like orb damage without time rod, and yeah, I've seen a lot of bad shit. But to be honest, I haven't really seen anything else. Any builds that any other builds you guys have seen?
I mean, I think the whip build is the only
Yeah,
one.
whip block
really.
is for sure the flavor of the.
I can't think of anything else right now.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of builds, but they're more like, you know, just fun builds, fantasy builds, like you said, like trying to do multiple things in one and all that stuff.
Which is completely fine to play those. I've seen some shield throws, right? And it's the same situation, right? It builds exactly like Javelin, but it's worst, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. What do you guys think about the tier list? Looking at it now, did we nail it, or were we correct?
I think it's pretty much like spot on. I have had some people ask like, are you going to update the tier list? Well, I don't think there's much to update. At least that's how I feel. It's pretty spot on.
People are talking about the Infernal Shade Leech too. I don't know if you guys seen that one. Like, I've seen it, but it just looks like we take a look at it and it just looks, especially for a leech, it just looks slow, and you know, again, Stygian Coil just does 40 million DPS, right? With the endgame setup, so yeah. And can do over. What were you saying, Bina? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think we pretty much nailed it. But like the difference between, you know, I've seen some small complaints. Why is this S tier? Why is this A tier? Why is it not in S? Why is it not in A? Should not be S, should be A. And like the difference between, you know, for certain tier lists like speed farming or stuff like that, the difference is like very small between, like, you have to put a cutoff point at some point. Of course, like some builds in S could maybe be an A, some builds in A could be an S. Same for A and B and C. But overall, I think the general looks of it looks fairly representative of what it actually is, objectively.
Yeah. But we also have some things that, for example, Abomination, right, on endgame pushing, we don't have it in S, even though it could definitely be S, just because fucking sucks to play. So that immediately makes it A. Like, it's kind of like, do you really want to recommend something that is just like snapshotting, fucking Pepega, 1 mile per hour gameplay? I mean, it's good, right? Do we recommend it? Like, hey, go play this? Probably not, right? Even though it's undeniably strong. And again, the fact that it's slow, it is a downside, right? So you have to value that in the tier list somehow. You can't really compare Abomination to Umbral Blade Falconer, when Umbral Blade Falconer is just like clearing an echo at 3k corruption in 30 seconds, right? So the intended
I'm still waiting for
the
someone
game.
to do something crazy on Mage.
Wait and see. Wait.
Yeah.
Keep waiting.
I mean, there's this like Lightning Blast Spark Charge build that I want to play on Rune Master.
Yeah, we tested that on CT. It's good. It's good damage, but
I want to see like the progression of the build, how it feels to, you know, play from start to finish, and see if it's mana is sustainable, because that's gonna be the issue. But it looks good.
Any other projects you guys have, or? Shout out to something, not necessarily for a top build, but something pretty interesting that I saw someone on Reddit post. I don't know your name, you know who you are, but
true.
I got messaged by Tank and everything too. But the Ravager's Dart stuff for Heartseeker on Hail of Arrows, actually pretty pok. I updated the guide with it. You basically turn Heartseeker into a throwing ability. That way it doesn't proc your buffs for bullshit, and it just gives you a bunch of damage and a bunch of damage and a bunch of defense and stuff for Hail of Arrows. It actually gives you quite a bit of damage and quite a bit of defense, and it and you still use decoy and spect on your bar, right? You can spec it before you have the shield, the Ravager's Dart, and pretty low LP, so you can get it with multiple LP pretty easy. You don't need to build duration, which was really annoying on this build before, because you had to build it on idols, and now that Ravager's Dart gives you duration on recurve. It's really really good. And again, now because you can go idols, HP idols, the aspirational gear has 7.7k HP on a marksman. So
That's pretty crazy.
and this is actually pretty realistic, believe it or not, because
Yeah.
a lot of these items are pretty easy to get.
Ravenous Void, Red Ring, 7, like almost 8 HP.
And you get the
Mountain Chest.
perma haste, so you go erased, and even on endgame planner, which you guys know, or endgame planners are, I would say they're pretty fucking easy to get nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's 5k health, with the. So.
Yeah, and this is like pretty safe to play this build also, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you
Very
can
nice.
go HP idols now instead of Hail of Arrows, so you gain a bunch of HP with this change. Again, is the build suddenly S tier? No, but it's nice, it's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice. I would say this is probably the tech actually that has impressed me the most. Like it's not a build per se, but this has impressed me. I would say even more than the whip thing, because the whip thing we kind of knew, right? It was just someone had to go and put it together, which Antens did. But this was like something that's straight up like, oh fuck, I didn't thought about this. That's so smart, I just straight up never looked at that part of Heartseeker, and I was like, oh shit, that's cool. So shout out to you, Mr. Dart guy.
What's funny is that whenever I saw this item, that's like I was talking with Trickster, and I was saying like this is gonna be like some dumb shit where you automate something with the you're not gonna deal any damage with it, and it's literally what happened. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I would be impressed if someone deals damage with that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Someone's mentioning the state of dodge and if it sucks and why. I mean, I think dodge is a nice extra layer of defense if you can get it for like somewhat free on most builds. But as your main defense layer, it really only makes sense on builds that have giga damage and softcore builds, really, right? Sort of like on Rogue, where you get Silver Shrouds, you can really play around only dodge. Like ZHP Ballista, you can really play around only dodging stuff, and you do absolutely fine.
I think dodge is OP if you get it, right? Basically. And if you don't get it, you ignore it. It's very binary. You don't really choose to go dodge. If your build gets it, like again, the Umbrella Blade Falconeer bullshit, that build just with the Featherstorm and stuff gets to 80% dodge. But you don't really roll dodge on your gear. Maybe a percentage roll in your amulet or something, and that's literally it, right? And just because you scale dexterity and the build just gives you crazy dodge, it's like, oh nice, I have 4k health, I have armor, and I also have dodge, poggers, But I don't think there is a single build where you go out of your way to build dodge. You either get it or you ignore it, I feel. And that also makes, and to be honest, I feel like this is kind of this is not that much different for builds in general. No, it's like, do you really go build block out of your way unless your class, you're either minion snapshotting with a full block setup, or your build just is a block class. I feel like a lot of the defenses that you have access to, they're kind of pretty chosen by you in the build you play, and it's just a matter of like, can you get as many defenses as possible and many uniques with DR as possible while keeping the damage up, which is why Judgment was so good, right? The fact that you can go full tank and still do top DPS or almost S tier level DPS. That's why the build was so good. So it's dodge. I mean, dodge, when you have it, is fucking giga. It's amazing. The problem is like you don't really control if a build has it or not. No? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not like fully reliable. It doesn't work like in PoE where it's I don't remember the word of it, but like it's you basically get a guaranteed dodge every however many attacks, right? If you have like this amount of evasion, then you'll get dodge, like you'll dodge every, let's say 3 attacks, right? It doesn't work like that in LE. It's just completely random. So you could dodge, if you have 80% dodge, you could dodge, your first 8 attacks and then get hit on your last 2, or you could get hit 6 times in a row if you're unlucky.
And get fucked, yeah.
So Yeah.
I think also, I think that's another one of the reasons why you don't really go out of your way to build it, because dodge lives with HP and with other affixes. So a lot of the times it's like, oh, do I want to have 3.5k health and 60% dodge, or 4k health and 50% dodge? I go for the 4k
Yeah.
health just because it's gonna be more reliable most of the time, right? And that 10% dodge, it might save me or it might not. But that 500 health, it's giving me endurance. It's making my sustain better. You know, it's saving me for reaching me breakpoints where I can maybe consider over Aberoth in the build, things like that. So it's just like, again, it's because it's not that reliable, and especially again, Bina's talking about the silver shrouds. It's like, why would I even invest in dodge? Where if I play properly and I use my mechanics on a rogue and I just time my silver shrouds, do I really need it, right? Again, if you're playing CHP Ballista and you're just gonna play like a headless chicken anyway, might as well just go full dodge and call it a day. But yeah, that's a softcore
Yeah,
approach, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, people in chat comparing like strength and dexterity.
Mhm.
Like strength getting 4% increase armor per point. It's definitely very strong, and it's always reliable, right?
Yeah, they'll
So
probably have to nerf it, actually, no?
yeah, but of course Dex has like some other scaling ways, you know, like the Morning Frost boost for damage and stuff like that. And many of the skills, like Heartseeker has Dex scaling also, so that you know you get more value out of it.
But
But yeah.
strength has access to like clever solution, like that
Yeah,
alone
yeah.
is like giga, you know, in a lot of hybrid builds.
Maybe they need to do the same thing as with the int ward
Mhm.
retention.
I wouldn't
So,
oppose it. I wouldn't oppose it.
yeah.
Maybe it should give flat armor instead of increase too.
maybe, yeah. Maybe.
No, flat armor.
Yeah, getting increased armor would be actually pretty difficult if they make it
Exactly.
flat.
If they make it increase only, you really want to go for that blessing. You really want to go for items that have increased armor. And again, there's not much increased armor in the game if you compare it to a flat armor.
Yeah,
Everything has fucking flat armor, right? So
yeah, and why not have it flat? I mean, Dex is flat, dodge.
yeah,
So why not?
makes
Yeah,
sense.
would make sense. Yeah.
Guys, the game is fixed. Boom, you know,
Boom.
once again by the crew.
Yeah.
Curious what the best mage build is for the update. You guys want to dig on that one a bit? What do you guys think? I think Shatter Strike has to be the best, no? If you
Yeah, probably Shatter Strike. But is that a mage?
yeah, exactly. I mean,
for
the mage class,
that,
sure.
Yeah.
Hydra,
Spellcaster,
no? Like, Hydra's pretty crazy, right?
Hydra has to be, but it's softcore for sure. If you play softcore, Hydra for sure.
To clear all content, I think probably Hydra. You can get so much damage.
Hydra is erasing strike levels of damage. People don't realize how retardedly OP the damage is, and it's always been. Like, again, call me Nostradamus, but you remember me. Like, Hydra screening for 1 million. Like, what the hell? Like, no one believed in me. Like, everyone called me bad and bait. Like, I almost archived the build. I was so traumatized by YouTube comments.
That happened in like with the patch where they nerfed it, and there was like I think Snap Groups was playing Hydra. He was playing Plasma Orb, and there was some talks like, "Oh, it's Plasma Orb better than Hydra." I was like, "Yes, it's much better." But like in the end, I mean, I think Hydra does just way more damage.
Yeah, and this is one of those things too. Like talking back to the debate last patch, this is like we didn't really know the game as well as we do it now. So our conclusions of what was good and was bad were basically based on ignorance. So the Plasma Orb was. It was definitely tankier, right, at the time, because it had more ward and it had the ward on hit note with Rune Master and all that stuff that was really abusable. So because it had that on top of Hydra, you kind of like you just think you never no one went and actually go and say, okay, but what does Hydra have in comparison? And the same thing goes for things like Glacier and stuff. Again, I see a lot of people saying like ward is dead or whatever. Like you can't get 600 and 700 word attention still this patch fairly easily, just changing itemization and skills a bit. But I mean, I tested Glacier, I tested Fireball, I tested all these mages, and all of these mages get more than 10k word still today, right? So nothing changed there really. But yeah, we were just bad, bro. What can I say?
I think it's still Glacier is a good all rounder mage build. Like freaking
For hardcore is for sure the best, no? Still, especially if you do for the mind over matter setup. That shit is so tanky. It's probably the tankiest EHP in the game actually. Like EHP wise, is retarded. Like it's super tanky with the focus and everything.
You know what I'm surprised I still haven't seen is anything else using a crazy full regen setup with Vessel of Strife with like 5k plus regen or something. With the new set affix on the gloves that gives you percent regen per strength, like 3% per strength, and all these new affixes with help regen, like just like an absolute monster of regen. Yeah, with all the new idols that we get as well for increased regen, flat regen, ward retention, ward per second. There is for sure a cook there that is going to be immortal, and you just need to figure out how you deal your damage.
We've been
That's the thing.
pushing.
How do
really
you deal
hard.
damage? That's the thing.
We've been pushing really hard for Vessel and Regen. I don't know. People don't seem
Hybrid
to.
builds this patch are just crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. Especially
not-
because you don't know the mobs yet. People don't know what does damage and doesn't do damage. We still have a lot of that. Oh fuck! I didn't know this was so dangerous. Like you have a lot of surprise deaths this patch. Regen and this kind of builds are so good in those scenarios because those scenarios where you wouldn't react because lack of knowledge. Regen's got you covered, right? And you're just like, oh, thank God, you know.
And regen is also crazy good against dots because
Yeah.
it's always at maximum efficiency as soon as you take any damage, right? So it doesn't rely on, you don't need to rely on like over leech tech or something like this to like, you know, get your leech going. Like, you know, leech scales over a certain duration. So yeah, I mean, something with crazy regen, I would not be surprised to see something happen in the near future with some crazy regen tech.
People are asking about how much damage should your main skill do? Like what do we do when we consider that? I don't know if you guys want to talk a bit about that. Like how do we, what are our goals? What do we aim at?
Well, I mean, on builds, the problem is that maybe not the problem, but you can't really get more than you just get on the skill, right? Or on a particular build. You know, you there's only one skill tree to mess around with. You optimize the skill tree, you optimize your gear, and then okay, how much damage do I have? But if you have like over 10 million, I think it's really strong. If you can reach that, like, you know, magical 10 million plus damage, it's really good.
Yeah, I think if you have more than 10 dispatch, you're like, it's a really good build, basically. Right?
Yeah. And if you have less than 5, it's like, yeah, man, is there even a reason to play this? Basically.
Yeah, no, of course, like some builds really scale way better with gear and stuff, so that some can be like pretty gear reliant. So like it can do X amount of DPS, but maybe some players just don't really get there, so it can feel not as good. And then you can just play Erasing Strike again, and you always deal with damage. So
and it's funny because then Digital Dagger is asking, what DPS do you need to hit 1k corruption? And that is the surprising part. You don't need any DPS to do 1k corruption. Like
There's a but though. There's a but because
there is a but.
If you plan on running, you know, against the possessed monsters and you want to do tombs and kill, you know, maybe doing Cenotaph of Worlds with the boss that, you know, spawns the other bosses, and those can get pretty damn tanky. And if you don't have a lot of damage, like, yes, you will clear trash. It doesn't take a lot of damage to clear trash, but you do need to have a certain amount of DPS to deal with the bosses. And if you don't have a lot, they'll be alive for a long time, and then they will cast their dots on you, their hits, and you're gonna have a bad time, basically.
But again, so Fireball can clear current 1k corruption fairly easily. So if Fireball, you know, that's the cut basically for just 1k corruption. Now these builds, like I would say, like the C tier builds, like less than 10 million damage, doing, for example, Uber Abaroth starts, unless you're extremely tanky, it starts feeling like a chore, right? Like you have to play so good, the arena gets so messy with the lasers. So if you want to aim at Uber Abaroth, I would say 10 million is it's not like a cap or like a threshold that you need to, but it makes the fight way more so you don't have to play perfect and manage the lasers and all that.
Yeah, and like especially if you want to farm the boss, you might not wanna take 20 minutes every time to kill it, you know. So
Yeah,
at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
keep in mind that the DPS numbers we see here is with endgame planner, so like not crazy stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
endgame planner.
I wonder if we should if we should up Hydrahedron, because when we placed Hydrahedron on A, we knew it was S DPS, but we decided to put it A because well, it's Giga Squishy.
Well, no, well, I think it's fine there. I think it's fine. I mean, it can do more, but like it's gonna scale a lot with more than endgame planner, basically. I mean, with the bug, it's definitely S, but with the bug, it's definitely S. Yes.
Yeah. With this sidetracks into a question from chat. What is the most ultimate build for the corruption / bossing? And I would just transform this question into what do you guys think is the best build of the patch as of today? Best build of the patch.
Yeah, it's impossible to say. Like, there's gonna be one build that is best for this, one build that is best for that. You know, like one build that is best for bossing, for speed farming. For
what about just? I think in
overall best?
softcore it has to be Umbrals, no? In softcore.
Yeah, that's definitely a contender, or Erasing Strike also.
But Umbrals is. Have you seen Umbrals the Uber?
Yes,
For-
yes, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
for corruption push, Umbral Blades. People underestimate Ballista Falconer. Dude, if you get Ballista Falconer will scale like crazy with
Yep.
double exalts. Dex and int, it is going to be like I don't even want to test it. It's gonna be it's gonna
to
blow
be
all the
honest,
charts.
I think the only reason Ballista is not more played is because Umbral Blades exist because they're both stupid.
And because it was played a lot in the past.
Yeah.
So like, you know, people try different builds. Someone came to me and told me, I don't think Ballista can do Uber Aberoth. I'm like, what?
It deletes it, yeah.
It just deletes it, you know? But yeah, I'd say Umbral Blades is pretty crazy. Scales pretty crazily as well. It must be that.
Yeah.
It must be
And in
that.
hardcore it has to be Judgment, right? For sure. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Hardcore is Judgment.
Like hardcore is way easier to say. Like, what is the best build for hardcore? It's definitely Judgment. Like, it's pretty easy to say that, right? But for like all of the game, what's the best absolute thing? I try to avoid saying that because there's so many good builds and they excel in different things also. So
I think for bossing, I think Stormcrows wins the crown there though. Like you can like
more than Abo.
Well, actually, I haven't played Abo, but Stormcrows with gear gets absolutely crazy. You just insta phase every phase for Aberoth, right?
Abo is kind of nasty. Those two builds for sure. The minion
Those two
snapshot
for
thing
sure. Those two for sure.
Yeah.
Really crazy stuff.
Yeah, Abomination, bro. Probably the
every time
easiest killer.
Every time I've tested crows, it was always with like endgame planners, right? So just get a little bit more than that, and you just you just insta phase. It's insta phase Uber Aberoth like it's nothing. If have you seen the kill Cemeteries did?
Yeah.
It was actually so clean. Pretty crazy actually.
Yeah, he did good. And again, he knew how to do the original Aberoth, right? So obviously that helps a lot too. And I think did he just raw dog it, or did he practice a bit?
No, he practiced. He practiced.
Okay.
For speed farm, I mean, I'm playing Warpath right now. I am sure you can, change one or two items or one or two things in Warpath and make it like an absolute monster of speed farming.
Yeah, people are just changing the boots and stuff and just going speedy, no?
But like Erasing Strike and Warpath both are pretty crazy speed farmers.
And I think overall, like if you just wanna probably a build that is just solid where it doesn't really die, you don't really need gear, it's beginner friendly, it's retarded gameplay, not too click intensive. It's probably Erasing Strike is probably the most like overall just. It just does everything, no? It has good clear. It has good. It just does everything. Maybe it's not
you can
the
even
best.
fully spec it for AOE for like mapping, so it's actually pretty big AOE. And the thing is, like, there's so much bossing now in the game. You really benefit from like high bossing damage, even if you're speed farming, so to speak. You know. So.
Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, there are pretty tanky monsters in mapping too, so like having good
Yeah.
damage really helps. It
Yeah,
really
like even
helps.
just the champions. Yeah. So.
mm.
Mm.
Shall we talk a bit about balance? How do you guys feel the classes are? Because people were asking me what happened with Druid, what happened with this, what happened with that. Shall we talk a bit about masteries in general? Obviously, we have Primalist. You guys are big furry enjoyers. I don't know if you guys how do you guys feel Primalist is at the moment after having played the patch?
I think Primalist is really good in many like there's many good builds for Primalist. It has access to of course, like for example, companions, Stormcrows only exist, but
yeah.
I've heard good things about Bear actually. I've heard things about Bear. I need to test this actually.
Bear
But
NATO or
no, Bear, like Bear Companion.
Cocaine Bear. That the people talking about it. Cocaine Bear.
I've heard things about Bear that makes me wonder if I should test it, and I think I will. But
is it another snapshot build? Be honest.
well, it's a companion, so there's
I
any
didn't ask that.
minion.
I didn't ask that. Is it a snapshot build, Vina?
It's all snapshot builds. They're all snapshot builds.
Yeah.
Repent.
Snapshot, yes.
But I think Primalist is in a pretty good spot, honestly. I mean, there aren't that many like terrible choices you can make. They can all clear most of the game, and then there's a few really good ones. Tornado, either human or werebear. Totems surprised me this patch because that's a build that I theory crafted, but I did not actually level with it and played it thoroughly with the new setup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did this patch, and it was just amazing. I had like such good feedback about it as well. The auto targeting in Cemeteries just auto targets everything as well. It's just amazing.
Everything.
Yeah, it goes through the walls and everything. So
What?
okay,
it's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know.
But for like Primalist, for like a non-minion enjoyer like myself, I mean, there's not that many choices for like strong builds. I mean, Tornado is really good, Shaman or Bear, but
Shaman or
you
Bear.
can play EQ.
Shaman or Bear. Because obviously we went for human, right? Vina, you want to talk a bit about it?
I mean, it's both are good. Bear has about twice as much DPS with the dual wielding setup, so it's about double DPS, but you have to melee with swipe. And human is just you spam tornadoes. So one is like clunk and one is no clunk. Some people don't find it really clunky on Bear, but some people do. It's both setups are good basically, and even human tornado does more damage than most other builds of the patch. So it's not a bad choice either, and it's like
you're not missing out a
play.
lot, right? For how much quality of life you get.
Yeah, and then it's tankier, but you get less invulnerability windows. So there's like qualities, and there's good sides and downsides of both builds, and yeah, I think just
how would you rank?
I prefer human.
How would you rank the masteries on Primalist?
How would I rank the masteries?
What
the problem is because ranking on what, right? On general.
Just like, hey, someone wants to make a Primalist. What mastery are you recommending? Like, you should roll this, bro.
I think I would put Druid. It's hard to put Druid last when it has.
I would put Druid last personally.
Yeah. I mean, does Druid only have maybe like Weber Tornado as a actual nice?
That's what I was saying. Build? Like, there's not much choice there,
I mean, you can play again swiped, but you can play aftershock procking on Nado, but it's just worse than Beastmaster. Like
Swarmblade is kind of falling out of flavor, and then like Tornado is just better. Like Shaman is just better with that, with like totems as well, and then Beastmaster has crows. Yeah, and then Beastmaster is like incredibly tanky with aspects of the boar as well. That really surprised me this patch is playing Beastmaster with aspect of the boar at 30% just makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
Reminded me of like when every Primalist had access to aspect of the boar. Good old times.
Yeah, I mean, back then we complained that like you always need to take it, but now it's more like, well, you need to go Beastmaster instead, so you can actually take it again, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I would
Well, it's
say
good.
Beastmaster is the best, no? Actually.
I would agree. Yeah.
But is it if it only has really that, that going for it?
What do you mean? It has shark stacking, which is crazy.
Shark
like,
stacking is retarded,
700% increase melee damage and like all the armor shed and like almost 100% increase attack speed.
Uh-huh.
Like, bro, you can
Good.
take any melee skill also and play.
Yeah,
Big
know,
DR,
for leveling,
big
bro, this
leech,
shit
big
is crazy.
aspects,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
not even that bad leveling also.
Like once you get it, like it's like
To be honest,
the highest
if
damage
Frenzy Totem
possible.
didn't suck ass, it would be #1 uncontested for me. But I just hate Frenzy Totem, bro. It just dies. It's just annoying. Like, turn Frenzy Totem into a Frenzy Sigil. Boom. Fixed.
Yeah, and the same for the wolf also.
Same for the wolf. Yeah.
Have a note, you can't, like, it doesn't deal any damage, but
Spirit
you get all the
wolf.
buffs or something.
It just
Spirit
follows
wolf,
you.
Yeah.
Spirit wolf.
Yeah. Then I can
I
play
think
my
it's very
melee build
hard.
without minions, you know.
I feel like it's so hard to like say that this master is better than this one and this one, and like they all have some like upsides and downsides.
Hey, it's some
It's
content.
very
Benya.
hard to like
It's
rank them.
content,
like this,
okay? It's content.
right?
People
Yeah.
are asking about squirrels. Are squirrels dead?
Well, crows exist, so crows eat squirrels for breakfast.
Oh shit.
Holy.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
I mean, yeah. The squirrels are dead, and the crows are feeding on their corpse.
Holy.
Holy.
It basically plays the same skills, same buffs, same playstyle of you attack auto attacking while the minion does things, and crows just do 5 times, 10 times the damage. How many times? 100 times, like 50 times the damage, like whatever it is. Like, it is what it is, bro. It's a bit unlucky that they like over nerfed the squirrels, right? Because there used to be this. I think there used to be a bug with the helmet where, there was
Yes.
supposed to be a debuff to their damage that wasn't applying, and then they not only fixed it but increased it or something. And after that, squirrels kind of fell off grace, no?
But you know why that happened? Is because we had the wrong perception of squirrels. You included, me included, everyone included, that we all thought that squirrels did way too much damage. We all thought, oh my god, squirrels can kill tier 4 Jildra in this amount of seconds. It's way too OP. Look at this. But in fact, I believe that squirrels might not have been like anywhere near the top of the DPS charts. It's just that we were clueless about other builds.
Yeah, I guess we were just bad. That's true. We let ourselves be impressed by killing 100 corruption bosses, and we were just bad.
It's yeah. I do think that they could bring back that, just remove that line of text and squirrels would be fine. Would be fine. The main problem with companions that they die, right? Like you need to invest into their tankiness.
Yeah, snapshotting, boom, boom.
Yeah. And then like that competes with damage. Yeah.
Surely snapshotting fixed next season.
For sure, guys.
For sure.
Again, I feel like we were kind of shy about snapshotting in the past. We didn't want to bring it up. I've seen a lot of comments of, oh, how could Maxroll do this? This guy, unfollow. Bro, us putting it forward and criticizing it, and it turns it into a priority. So we're like Gandhi. This is a political movement at this point, right? So if you want snapshot to be fixed, play snapshot, post it, and they will address it eventually. They will have to.
Yeah.
And I think we can all agree. We like none of us want snapshotting in the game. We want
absolutely
to
not.
So,
yeah.
And also, like how you have to see it for the devs is that they know about it. It's just that it's not the priority, or I mean, I don't know, but
apparently it's really hard to fix. So
yeah, the more you complain, the higher it goes in the priority list. That's how it goes.
I mean, if it is shown in public and people know about it and they see it and they feel like it's unhealthy for the game, they will prioritize it at some point. So the only way to get it to be fixed is to play it. Like if it's not played and if it's not shown, then it's not gonna get fixed. or if it's just like in the shadows there. Oh, there's this rank 1 abomination player that gets rank 1 every patch
Yeah,
with
and
snapshotting and dual wielding shields. Like
not only that, but the thing is, like, we are telling you we are snapshotting. We're being transparent about it. Now, if you open up a random YouTube video by Michael35 and he's like doing 6,000 corruption, and he doesn't show you his items, he doesn't show you his gear, he doesn't show you the summoning process, and then he tells you, by the way, follow this build, it's much better than the builds out there, and he just happens to forget about mentioning snapshotting, then the viewers get baited into thinking something it's not, and it creates like this. Again, we're just being honest about it. Snapshotting is a problem. It should get fixed. If it was me, I would fix it right now, right? Because again, the worst part is like the minion builds we have don't actually need snapshotting to be top builds. So snapshotting just makes it retarded, pretty much.
Retarded is the good word. Yeah.
Okay, Mage. Thoughts?
Fireball.
Hey.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's still a lot of things to cook on Rune Master. I think it's just like the class that is the least liked this patch by people, by player. I think players see Mage as like, why would I play Mage, basically?
It's just, I don't know. I always thought it was kind of, again, it wasn't really that interesting ever. Okay, you stack mana fucking everywhere. You can just do that on a Racing Strike better now. Or you stack intelligence everywhere, which you can just do in Leech or dexterity in Falconeer and do better now. Like, no, none of the optimization choices or anything is that cool. You have some classic builds that will always perform, right? Like Shatter Strike and Glacier and these builds that are always there. But overall, it's just like, I don't know. I just think the mana situation is also so annoying. No, the fact that, and then you have the focus. The new focus relic has spiced it out a bit, like the mana guide thing. But again, if you play with that, and then you go back into playing a build with 150 movement speed, you delete your mage. I feel.
I think Brand of Dissipation has potential, but not as the T-pose mage, basically.
Yeah.
Something else, like remove the clunk from it and make it good, Yeah, I think there's definitely some things to like. I think Mage is vastly unexplored for this patch, actually.
Yeah.
I think it might be unexplored.
I also hate the mana situation. I hate how like everyone has always, you just go Meteor for mana, or then you have to focus. No one likes to fucking do that. It's just like, or mana striking, like, bro, like, it's not. Flame Ward dependency is just like fucking crazy, like a wrong wrap every build because otherwise you don't have increased damage. Like again, I'm zero interested. I have zero interested, and then you have the strength stackers, which are pretty cool, but again, you could just do that before on Primalist, and they're just better at it anyway. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
What about Spellblade? Like, except for Shatter Strike.
I was talking with Snap. I was talking with Snap, and he's a search believer.
Really?
Yeah, because you can get cooldown, and it basically plays like Shatter Strike. Like boom, 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 big combo, boom, 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 big combo. And then because you can get immunity while you're searching, you build a lot of cooldown and shit, so you're basically almost immune to damage half of the time. It's like a bossing build, I don't know. Bro, Shatter Strike needs a rework. This Fire Aura shit needs to go. Like, what is so dog shit, man? Like, Fire Aura, like, I hate Depths. It's not it, bro.
Such a meme.
It's bro, like, no. Not it. Rune Master, kind of good, no? Though this patch, I think after the Sork Frenzy, Rune Master, without seeing any changes really, well, there's some buffs here and there to Deception and to, but I would say Rune Master kind of poke, no? Again, Definitely better than Sork. What do you think? Yes, no?
I mean, somewhat similar too. No, somewhat similar.
Yeah, I feel
What
overall.
else is there? There's Hydra, but the Hydra was always there.
I mean, Plasma's still playable. We don't have it, but it's still playable. Then
yeah,
you have
it's still playable.
the Rune of Deception builds are Rune Masters also, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah. That's right. That's at the top.
then we have what else? I've seen yeah, that's it.
What about those Glyph of Dominion builds?
What about
and
Black
stuff,
Hole,
and, like,
Vina? You're
what
an
about
expert.
Black Hole?
You're an expert in it.
I've tested Black Hole. Misha sent me a planner. I tested Black Hole. It's again, it's a Misha build. Massive clunk. Like, it just Misha the clunk enjoyer, you know?
Misha the
I mean,
Clank
you could make
enjoyer.
a Venus black hole build, you know? You could make that, you could be the one. So.
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, can it do damage? Yes. I mean, we already knew that the Black Hole did damage, but it's just how do you play that build?
Vina,
How do you play that build?
Vina.
You know,
you are my testimony here. Do you remember when I was theory crafting Fireball? What ability I almost added into the build? Do you remember?
I don't know. It must be Black Hole.
Yes? Don't you remember me running around clearing echoes with Black Hole saying, hey, this does a bit of damage? I'm a visionary. What can I say?
I mean, you know, like doubling the I mean, the buffs to Black Hole were significant for this patch for sure. It can do damage. And someone's mentioning in chat, like, Dread did kill Aberoth with Black Hole. Yes, it does damage.
Like Uber
how do
or
you
Aberoth? Uber or...
Like, when you compare
Normal,
when you
I think,
compare to,
No,
like,
normal or
any
Uber?
decent build. Normal.
I mean,
When you
normal.
compare
You
to
can
an-
kill auto attack normal Aberoth. Like a normal
Yeah, but
Aberoth is a
when you-
dummy. Like
Yeah.
Like, the
I
thing is that
use normal
for-
Aberro to test if I have enough mana for time loop, like 2 points in Erasing Strike. Like, I use it as a dummy, so
Yeah.
that's
for a Black Hole build, this patch, Black Hole is really good. For when you compare it to what Black Hole used to be, I think Black Hole is really good. When you compare it to the builds in the game, like to like any of the top builds, any of the like top 30 builds, Black Hole is still subpar, basically.
It's just the
So-
it's just the clunk. It's just the clunk of the build.
Yeah.
Because damage wise it's up there. Like I made like a build that dealt like 70 million DPS, but it's fucking stationary.
I
Like
don't know.
if the build like if it moves, like you deal 0 damage. Like it's kind of cringe as a build.
I got kind of baited with that build because I watched the video and the AoE was giga big, right? But then you actually look at the video and you realize that the visual effects and the actual ignites, they're not correspondent, right? Like you see the big effect going on, but it's not actually hitting anything, like or igniting anything. So I was pretty disappointed. But I mean, it's a pretty fucking cool build. I would say that one is a cook. You know, Misha is the queen of Clank, but she is also a chef. You know, so on the Clank restaurant, she does deal the best dishes. You know, it is what it is. Thank you, Misha, once again for the Clank. I don't know, Mage overall, like fucking boring. No, this patch. Do we agree?
Yeah, kind of. I've always been a Mage hater though. So
Oh
you know,
shit!
I think if
I am biased.
I think if there's
Mage
anything
hater.
to cook, this patch, it's going to be on Mage.
Yeah.
I think that's the most. That's where lies the most potential of you know, a great dish.
Do we put a reward? I'm just saying, if
We put a bounty.
bounty, if someone kills Uber Aberoth with a caster, sorcerer, right, or rune master, yes, that is not the builds that we have talked about today. So something new, like fire, like again, Volcanic Orb, fucking, you know, Glyph of
Disintegrate.
Dominion, like any of this. If someone does that, I will dance on stream a song of your choice, full song, a maximum to 4 minutes. So again, has to be a mage, okay? And it has to be one of these skills that we haven't talked today. So
Or a non-Shutter Strike Spellblade. Yeah, that would work. That would work too.
yes, well, I mean, we talk about search, right? So not search, anything else, but flame reef would work. Yes. Again, the challenge is up, guys. Shall we go next mastery? I think this is overall just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shatter Strike has a couple builds. Sork has a couple builds. Rune Master has a lot to be cooked. Lightning Blast potential, right? We talked about this today, so it doesn't count. And yeah, now we move to the king.
Oh, like
Holy Volca, take it over.
yeah, I mean Sentinel. We know it's like 50% of the players play Sentinel. I think the devs showed some stats, and it's like really good builds, right? Like you can make many things work on Sentinel. Not even just the ones we have here, but these are the like top ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously, Erasing Strike, Warpath, mana stacking. The Void Well is super OP, as we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And very like similar builds those two. So Erasing Strike kind of like more damage definitely, and Warpath is more for speed and different playstyle, obviously, completely different playstyle. And then Judgment for hardcore, the winner of the race and all that stuff. So I mean, it has everything: the class, tankiness, damage, speed, everything.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum. Yeah, violence. Holy.
I also think Sentinel is very funny because being a melee class, and you can tell that people don't have a lot of experience with playing melee nearly, because for the longest time no one has really played melee. Aside from Erasing Strike or Warpath, unless you really know what you're doing with this class, I feel like when I'm watching streams, you can really tell if the person knows what they're doing or not with a Sentinel. Like there's a lot of I feel like in order to play smooth with a Sentinel, I don't know, I've seen, basically TLDR, I've seen a lot of fucking people play Judgment. Holy fuck, they make the build look horrible because they're so slow and they don't really know what they're doing, and they're using Judgment at the wrong times, and when you watch someone play Sentinel good, like it just, like, again, I've done some clears on False Temple with Judgment where you literally feel like Superman, like with the shrines going on and shit, like you just feel like unstoppable, like you feel so powerful. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know, it's so OP, man. So good.
Yeah. I mean, like I think many people can do, of course, Uber Rapid on Judgment, even though still I think it's only like 500 players or something.
Yeah.
At least the last time we saw the stats. But like Judgment, sure, it's super tanky, but you can also play the fight better and make it at least look, you know, like you're actually engaging in the mechanics. And still, you can die, definitely. But depends on the gear, of course, and all that. But you can still die in that fight on Judgment.
What would you? I would say there's a clear mastery that is worse than others here, no?
Yeah, I mean, like Forge Guard is definitely like clearly worse, and now it might be even the bug with the Forge Master's Might that at least on some skills you actually deal even less damage than it says, and the downside is already kind of monka. You know, it's a bit too much. I think the downside, anyways.
The haste, bro. Like fuck.
Yeah, no haste alone is like no thank you, basically. So. But like Void Knight and Paladin just way better, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
I really hope on the Judgment build that people are talking in the chat about the face tanking abilities of it. I honestly think if they made it so you can only stack one concentrated ground for healing, so you could stack them for damage but only one for healing, that build is balanced suddenly, right? Because the only reason people are tanking Uber Aberrod so much is because there's a lot of dot damage that you just like, again, that build we tested. I think it was like what, 50,000 health per second or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, if you don't have the healing and stuff, you still will be tanky. And maybe if they nerf the block a bit and all that stuff, like it actually is not that easy to play in the fight if you actually have to, you know, you can't face tank everything.
Yeah. And the cleanse,
the AOE is small and all that. So
the cleanse should get removed. I tried to get it removed on CT, just like we did on Frostclaw Victory. But if you guys don't remember, Frostclaw used to have the cleanse on use thingy, and they just completely removed that. And I think they should do that on Judgment too.
Yeah,
they should definitely remove that.
Yeah, and I mean, then we have Erasing Strike with just giga damage. That's of course like pretty easy to fix. Just, you know, tweak the numbers, and I guess you can still keep Void well as it is, because it's you don't want to brick the build. You just want to make it deal less damage than it does now. I would say for softcore like Uber farming, Erasing Strike is at least one of the top, if not the top, unless you want to play minions, of course. But like no snapshotting, you just go in and you blast the boss, and you can do it in like about 2 minutes, or even like depends on the gear, obviously. But so that would be the best for softcore Uber, and then Judgment for any hardcore gaming. Basically, I felt like Judgment makes hardcore feel like softcore, except for the Uber boss, of course. It's like a cheater build.
It's fake hardcore, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Imagine playing that build.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a bunch of builds that are also like really good, that are kind of like overshadowed by the super OP stuff. Like Rive is really good, but then again, it's like, okay, why would I play that? I can play Erasing Strike, but there's many, like, those are really, really good builds. It's just the other stuff does better, basically. So yeah.
Yeah,
something like Smite VK also really good for Uber.
We're so lucky that Fopcan made the Racing Strike video, and finally this build made it for everyone to play and kill Uber. Very good build. And I wanna give a shout out to Terek for this absolute amazing leveling guide. No, it's probably the best one we have. No, you play this shit and you feel like you're cheating in the campaign.
Yeah. Pretty bug.
Yeah,
pretty insane.
I actually think like many people get converted to Judgment from that build, because it's for them it's just so good.
I actually think this guide is the reason why no one died. Like, people didn't die day one of the race on the hundreds. Honestly,
maybe.
Game is easy, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah, that might also skew the talk about like the game being too easy. Like, if you follow my guides, obviously I min-max the shit out of them. So like, I picked some guides also that fit really well into the end game. So a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, I like this leveling guide. Why do you not have the end game version and stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess you can play this." Yeah, a lot of good feedback about the leveling.
Yeah, people just want more. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do more, because otherwise you cannot like keep the
that's
juice.
what you think.
Like, you cannot
that's what you think, Derek. Back to the basement,
But yeah, it's true. You need to keep the quality high, so you can't really do like 15 guides. That's for level.
I was thinking that maybe in the future for next patch, because I would assume next patch is gonna be less of a meta shakeup than this patch, personally, because I think this patch had so much to fix.
We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see, right? But especially with the guaranteed slams and all that, that was such a big change. I don't know, but I wonder if like we add like an extra, like maybe like a leveling section on the builds that can level, right? Let's just say, hey.
Yes, yeah.
Like where we have like on the guides, you have starting, end game aspirational as we have it, but maybe if the build can be level, just like be like, hey, if you wanted to level, this is what I would do. This is non min-maxed. If you want a min-max experience, go to the leveling guide. But if you are really stubborn and you want to level with Warpath, this is how you do it. I don't know, and just like
that's how they do that in PoE. I think like they have a small section. Like, I could do that for our builds, like it's just a quick thing.
I could see that happening more than just like committing to having every mastery, because again, some masteries just fucking suck to level. That's the reality, right, Derek? I don't know.
Primalist as a whole, like, it's such a headache. Like, either you deal ZDPS, or the playstyle is clunky, or you ZHP. You have to pick between those three, and some of the times you have two of those three. Like, I wish Primalist was a bit different, to be fair, on leveling. But you have also, like, I can't push, like, for example, minions as the main like leveling build. Like, that would be kind of weird, because a lot of people don't like to play minions.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to pick like an option that everybody like, or like most of the people are gonna enjoy, and also is really, really good, especially with no gear. That's like the biggest feedback I got, is that some people were like, "Bro, I forgot there was a loot filter in the game." In your guide or something, and the guy didn't even like pick the right bases or anything for the build, and he still like crushed the game. So that's That's the best feeling.
It's actually
feel.
crazy. I think the builds for leveling, they're so good. You can basically do everything else wrong and you still succeed. Like I have some people sell me some planners, bro, or I just like go, you're in empowered. How the fuck do you get in empowered? And they share me they show me some items where they have like a chess piece with tier 7 elemental res and nothing else on it. You know, like what the fuck? What happened?
Yeah.
And they still
I mean,
succeed.
I'm also dependent on the balance. Like, for example, Sentinel dispatch is crazy because you get everything. Like in terms of QOL, you have like so many buffs, so many things for free. The passive tree of like Paladin is like insane now. Just from leveling up, you get so much power without any gear.
Yep.
It's not the case for like every class.
But at the same time, though, taking into what Bina talked about at the beginning of the podcast, the game is also the hardest it's ever been. So I'm pretty sure if you play a blind build and you jump into monos at level 40 and some fucking champion spawns on you, I'm pretty sure you explode, right?
Yeah.
So. So.
But yeah, on like Sentinel overall, like Terry was saying about the getting free stuff on Paladin, like Paladin, I would say it's always been like this. It's way more now than before, but now it's like really good for anyone. Like you're a new player, okay, I'm gonna play Paladin. You get so much stuff for free. No need to worry about resistances. It's crazy basically. And now it's even better. So crazy stuff. Like no reason not to level up with Paladin, right?
I think the leveling guy got his damage doubled, and he got also a lot more healing. So just from the patch alone.
Sigils early is crazy, you know. I think that's the biggest change. Sigils not sucking dick. Like it's just great.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because like on pretty much any Sentinel build, you need to have Symbols of Hope. Like it's a mandatory 15 tax on the Paladin.
From the creators of the aspect of the vortex, we bring you the symbol tax.
Then again, if it was only for Paladin symbols, I mean, are you gonna play something else? The Paladin, I guess on Mana Stacker, sure, but you know,
I actually, you know, saying this, maybe symbols should be Paladin only. Actually,
maybe.
I wonder how much that would spice up the class.
But then again, the Void conversion is pretty cool for
fuck that.
The Void symbols. I don't know. Yeah.
It's so OP. So on the list, I guess, Forge Guard the lowest by quite a margin, and then the other two, we could probably say softcore Void Knight and hardcore Paladin.
Yeah. I mean, there's still like some specific Void Knight things like Smite VK, also Time Lord VK. You could easily do hardcore with those because they have, of course, block chance, max block and all that. But yeah, mostly like you can think of Void Knight as kind of a DPS master, and then Paladin is the tanky boy. So
I would say maybe Void Knight overall, even though they have equally powerful builds in general. Maybe Void Knight overall just has the edge, no? Because it has more builds and it has more.
Yeah, I think in endgame, it does have the edge. Yeah.
And maybe Void Knight is king.
Yeah, and also like I said before, Void Well is just I think it's the most like strongest passive in the game. Maybe like one single passive you can take is Void Well. So it's pretty crazy.
And I think also in comparison to the other trees, the Void Knight tree is for sure the one that got the most love, no? The fact that you get frailty and slow for free, you get the penetration nodes, you get the vitality scaling, you get flat crit on top, which is so hard to get. It's like all the changes were actually giga. Like when you play a Void Knight, you feel like you want every threshold in the tree. You're like, oh fuck, I don't have enough points and I still have to grab sigils. Fuck.
You want to take everything, and also like the Void DR node is actually really good for, of course, for Uber Aberrot. That's what really matters in this patch is Uber Aberrot for many people. So you can actually be decently tanky even on like a two-hander VK. So.
And again, especially people are asking, but Void Knight is not as tanky, and it depends because the only thing where tankiness really matters is Uber Aberrot, right? That's the ultimate tank test, and it just happens that Void Knight also has less void damage taken out the wazoo, which is pretty good. And again, you can still get full block on a Void Knight. You can still get the new Void Aegis thing for endurance threshold. You can do a lot of things, and you can get as tanky as a paladin. Really, paladin doesn't have anything that you don't have, right?
Yeah.
It's just
A-
early
and
game.
then those builds where you don't get tanky,
Yeah.
like Erasing Strike, they just have enough damage,
Yeah,
too much
exactly.
CPS. So yeah.
And eventually they
And you have
just make
crazy
use
leech
of
as
wise.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. The leech is insane. That is definitely completely out of control. We were talking about this before the patch also on the podcasts, like how the leech is. It's like in PoE 1 where it's just like instantly from 0 to max HP. So I think they need to fix it for sure. The leech.
If it wasn't for Judgment, Void Knight just like wipes Paladin, I think, actually.
Yeah, kind of true. I mean, yeah.
But yeah,
pretty much.
that would be the analysis, I guess.
Yeah.
And then for the Acolyte, what any thoughts on this?
I mean, you're the Acolyte main.
Yeah,
know?
you're the Acolyte resident of Maxroll. You know.
I am also the Necromancer specialist because nobody else wants to play it, so I'm forced to. I take one for the team. I would say, aside from the minion bullshit, right, and the new warlock build that we should probably add, right? Stygian Coil is so superior that anything else doesn't really exist, right? Pretty much, especially on Lich. There is some builds here and there that are okay, right? Like the Infernal Shade and this and that. But even versus Whiplock versus Stygian, and the Whiplock, the stun technology is pretty crazy. But I don't know. I think aside of that fight, like Stygian is just the best. And again, Necromancer really good. Especially with Abomination snapshotting. I think the quality of life for the Shades being infinite duration, like Dread Shade being infinite duration by default, is so nice, because refreshing Dread Shade every fucking 20 seconds was, and missing it, and if you ever played the Necro, you know what I'm talking about. It's so nice that you don't have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Abomination, like I wouldn't play it except for bosses.
Yeah,
like,
you would just respec half a second character for it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I would basically like play. You know what I would do? I would play like personally. I would play like Witchfire to clear like the areas and farm. And as soon as I want to do bosses, I would swap to full respect to Necro Abomination. That's how I would do on Acolyte.
Well, even have two characters, right? Just one setup for bossing. You don't give a fuck, and boom.
Yeah, you can even have like.
Because how long does it take you anyway to get to level 100? And you don't even need to be level 100 on the Abo anyway. So yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Again, Acolyte is on a bit of a weird spot because they obviously didn't touch it too much. They have said that is the class that is gonna get worked on next patch, right? So we will see. My only hope is that they don't change Lich identity. I want more stuff, and I don't want them to change some of the current stuff because it's such a classic, unique playstyle, you know. I don't want them to do what they've done to Volatile Reversal, TLDR. The Volatile Reversal was such a unique playstyle and everything, and now it just feels like a complete new skill, and I really miss the old one personally, like the mobility it gave and all that.
Yeah, the mobility was really fun with Volatile.
It was just so fun, and the fun is gone. Yeah. I do like the skill tree of it more now, but the fact that they turned it into a melee attack and it has this animation, and it's just, you don't have that turbo feel, that it's just gone anymore, which obviously I really loved. So that is gone, and if I had to design a unique right now in the game, that would be my unique. It would be Volatile Reversal is now instant cast, you know, and it's no longer a melee attack. It no longer deals damage, something like that, you know.
Just revert all the changes.
Pretty much, just give me back my ability.
Yeah, Volatile is like it was before. That's the unique.
Yes. Boom. And the item is a ring, and it's called Nostalgia. There you go. that is yeah. Yeah. So I just really wish they don't really change too much, like Dead Seal and Reaper Form identity, and I just wish they add more things outside of it. It makes sense. Because people complain about Dead Seal Reaper being too mandatory, but it's so fun. I don't really mind when something is mandatory if it's unique and fun. So I much rather have them add stuff into it rather than just like changing it completely. But yeah, overall, aside from these 2 builds, pretty meh. No, playing an Acolyte and Whiplock. Aside from these 3 builds, not. Next patch is gonna be Acolyte season, and we will shine like a diamond.
Yeah, I mean, people are still enjoying Torment and stuff. It's just it's not really made for Uber. So if you want to do Uber on like Warlock, you might want to go for the whip.
Yeah, the
setup.
Whippa.
Yeah.
Which again, we should probably add that this week, I guess.
I think we should.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. And if I had to rate them, I would probably say Necro is probably the best, actually, still, just because Abo exists, then Leech, then Warlock, maybe. But they have like 1 build each. so yeah, I don't know. But, yeah. Rogue! And this one is gonna be a interesting topic. Holy fuck. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, we can maybe start with Heartseeker. That's
yeah.
People seem to be really enjoying that one. New skill. People play both the Dragonsong version and also the Reign of Winter. Overall, like a classic marksman, really good. And I would say the best marksman for like the traditional like marksman gameplay, not counting like Hail of Arrows. So yeah, just good build, that one. And on Hail of Arrows, you have a new setup, right? We showed it a bit.
On the Hail of Arrows, you have the throwing setup just for a buff. It doesn't really do anything else, right? But it's cool.
Yeah.
What to say about this class, bro? It's just like Umbral Blade Falconer is a thing. Ballista is still a thing.
Yeah.
But
Blade Dancer is not a thing, right?
Yeah, Blade Dancer, in my opinion, aside from leveling, which Falconer is better at anyway now, it has to be the worst class in the game, right? Has to be. No?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any builds, so really.
Thoughts?
It has a fantasy, you know. It has a
fantasy of sucking cock.
But it just lacks in like late game scaling. I feel.
Dude,
or
it
like
does no damage, bro. Like
either it be any damage or tankiness or like it's just.
I tested so many Blade Dancer setups because it felt so bad only having the Lethal Mirage. And to be honest, the Lethal Mirage is a pretty fun build. It's really cool. But like I test Shadow Daggers and the Falconer was just like 100 times better. I'm not exaggerating when I say 100. Then I tested like a fucking Shadow Cascade because everyone was like super hyped about you should try Shadow Cascade with the 4 Shadow Node, the buck, blah blah blah. Dude, even with the buck, it had less damage than Fireball in endgame. And I was like, nah. And that's with the buck. If you don't have the buck, it's like half the damage or some shit. So yeah. Absolutely. So there's the and again then you have the Shuriken build, and I know Trickster is playing that, but it's like, okay, you do a bit of damage, you still do less damage than Sentinels, and your glass cannon. So it's like, it looks very cool and it's fun to play, but I mean, if you compare it to what's out there outside of the Rogue bubble, it's just not you can't even recommend that in my opinion.
And on a marksman, people asking if there's something like a range build that's not Hail of Arrows, that would be the Reign of Winter Heartseeker. That has a lot of range. So there's a variant on the guide.
Remember that we have the variants, so if you click on the planners, you always have the variants. So you have the bow build here, like the Reign of Winter with both the aspirational and the endgame.
And this one also is a bit upgraded. Also, I've changed quite a few of my builds. Like a couple of items are better, and like changing to the meta a bit, since you want to have a lot of uniques. So just like disabling all the exalted that's possible, basically, and replacing them with uniques, legendaries.
No exalted.
Makes sense. Yeah. So like null portent is pretty nice for this build. You actually kind of like accidentally overcap all the resistances because you get a lot of all res also for Morning Frost. Yeah. You can also go, of course, Mountain Chest. That's also fine to use.
And then you can still play multi-shot, of course. It's actually pretty good build still, and it farms 1k corruption. Giga good is actually one of my favorite farmers. I even like it more than Heartseeker for farming personally. But you have troubles versus things like Uber Abaroth, because again, you want to be close to do damage, and normal Abaroth is no problem, you can face tank him, but Uber Abaroth, it's just a bit too much, you know.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like for leveling on Rogue, the only thing that it lacks is access to more like defenses in the passives and stuff. Like it's there, but it's not as present in as like other classes. It's kind of feels a bit weaker, like especially on the reses, for example. Like, what do you have access to? You have access to poison res, like whatever.
I honestly think talking about that they have to balance defenses. Like again, why is glancing blow not just like easy? Like,
True.
Like, why do I need 20,000 dash shrouds to or dual wielding swords or whatever the fuck? I feel like marksman, once you're level 70 or whatever, glancing blow should be like fairly easy to obtain, basically. Like, but it's I don't know. I don't understand why it is so hard.
I think it should be the basic identity of the class, you know?
Yeah,
it just
absolutely.
reaches maximum 100% glancing blow without any dusk shrouds or bullshit, or, you know, like standing in your smoke bomb. Like, who wants conditionals like that for such an important layer of defense? Like,
Meanwhile, Paladin is running around with 100% block at level 70, you know? Like,
and capped armor just from the bases on Sentinel.
And he regen like 5 times his health
and that
if
too,
you play Judgment per second. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like Rogue, like Falconer also on Rogue, I mean, why play anything except Umbral Blades, right, at the moment? Sure, you could, but why do it? It's so much better than the other ones, other builds on Falconer.
Or Ballista.
Or Ballista, true. I forgot about that one.
Don't forget about Ballista.
I forgot. It's an old build, you know, so, but it's good. It's good.
I'm actually thinking about making a hardcore version of Ballista just because I just enjoy it so much.
Maybe.
Vina strat. I mean, I did do some quick tests, and it can probably do like over 10 million while being not tanky, but, you know, surviving most things, you know.
The 9th character has the grave ready, you know. Mantle of the Palox Gaming, bro.
Yeah, that one is pretty crazy.
That item,
it gives movement speed, so it's just good, you know. You could remove everything else that has movement
also,
speed.
You know? Like, it's crazy. Like anything that has a minion, it's insane. Yeah.
You can just people are just like summoning bear and snapshotting it and shit, and just wearing that on every build too. Snapshotting chest, bro. Like, fuck. Yeah, no, I think again, Rogue is such a binary class. I feel like it's either fucking broken or it's fucking dog shit. Like, it's very hard to get to good. And on Marksman, you have the advantage that you're kind of range. And again, can we talk for a second how like Falconer, like non-Umbral Blade, right? Like actual Falcon was like Bleed Falcon, Dive Bomb, like the classic builds. They were so over nerfed for no reason, and the actual build that was OP wasn't touched at all, really. I mean, they nerfed the boots a bit, but yeah.
Yeah. Like Bleed Falcon was nerfed like 3 times also, or something. Like every patch basically. It was stupid in the first patch, but then it was okay. Like it was fine kind of in the last patch. But now it's like kind of like, well, why play it? The DPS is not that great and all that.
I think Dive Bomb though is pretty
playable,
fucking good though. Ultra in game, like Dive Bomb is.
Yeah, but I mean, why play Dive Bomb when you can just play like the classic Dive Bomb, right? With traps and buffing your Falcon and all that shit. Why play that when you can just do Umbral Blade piano build and just do hybrid, like, and just like.
I mean, it's just
do 100 million DPS.
It's still okay. It's just like, yeah, all the other like stuff got like over nerfed. Basically, that's my point.
Yeah, this build, Umbra Falconer 4. I think Umbra Falconer is the only build that I've seen so far this patch, aside from snapshotting, where I think it needs like static orb treatment of nerfs, you know, like giga nerfs. It's so retarded. Like it's so over the top compared to everything else in the.
Can we
especially
talk
in the
about
class.
what? Yeah, so it is like we went over all the other masteries, but like should some of them also get somewhat of a static orb treatment? Like
I don't think.
is a racing strike in that category?
I don't think so.
No.
I think they just got a nerf like some of the multi. I think you nerf the axe, so 1 LP is basically realistically the maximum you get, right? Because at the moment it's way too easy to get 2 LP, and it's way you can even the fact that 3 LP is feasible is just it's too much, and you probably nerf some of the multis, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to do.
Yeah,
So.
I think you just gotta reduce the damage of the build by like 30% overall, something like that, and it's fine. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even 50%, it would be still really good with 50% nerf. But yeah.
But I think like it's very important that the nerfs are on the top end and not so much on the early.
Yeah,
because you don't want to nerf the guy who's like level 60, just rolls a racing strike, doesn't have the axe yet, and you still want that guy to have fun. But you want to prevent.
I hope they keep this playstyle also, so you don't have to like start using like vengeance for mana or something like that. So just like keep the playstyle, so you can actually just play it the same as it now, but just less damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think it's to that level. I don't think it's to that level of. I think again it does too much damage, but a few numerical nerfs here and there. Maybe damage effectiveness is a bit too much.
Oh yeah, they buffed the damage effectiveness as well.
Yeah, that's the problem. They buffed
yes,
they
they added the 100% multi, and they buffed the damage effectiveness.
and they 4x the time rot chance, so you insta get it. Where before it was pretty hard to go into the time rot node because it was kind of hard. I mean,
at least the time rot node is a lot of points, so it's per point it's kind of fine for the multiplier. But yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just the axe. The axe is too good. No?
Yeah, so it should be 100 LPL, just like Event Horizon. So yeah.
Yeah.
Did we go over all the classes now? Then.
Yep.
Like
we did. More or less. I would say obviously Falconer is the best, Marksman second, and very very far off Blade Dancer. No.
Yeah.
And again, to be honest, Umbral Blade, again, the Ballista and minion stuff, you know, like just minions OP, man.
Yep.
Have we seen what Trickster did, like the Shuriken build? Yeah, we talked about it. It's a fun build, but it's just not really. It's just a squishy build, you know.
Yeah.
It does less damage than all the things that we mentioned here, especially the Umbral Blades and all that. It's a shame because I really do like playing Shurikens. I played it before. Like you feel like Zed from League of Legends, but it's just not it. You know? Shall we talk a bit about crafting before we wrap it off, and maybe some meta gearing, a bit of that?
Yep.
What have you guys been doing? What have you guys been crafting? Any strategies? Any crazy gearing? Havoc enjoyers, redemption enjoyers, or what like?
Yeah, I mean for sure.
Go ahead, Pino. Go ahead.
I mean, for sure, Runes of Havoc and Rune of Redemption are the two best crafting materials you can possibly get in the game right now, and you should be striving to get a lot of them. So you should probably spec your Weaver tree for all of the runes nodes and stuff like that, because double exalteds are able to be printed with the imprint nodes, and running, like, for example, some strategies with the trove, with the caches. So just being able to open all these, whichever strategy you're doing, you can get some with the caches, you can get some by completing echoes, you can get some with just killing monsters in your echoes as well. All of these methods, if you have a first base, right? If you have first base of an item with double exalt or triple exalt or 2 tier 7s, you can just start gathering a lot of those, and then even though they have they're not on the right base or something, right? It's gonna try to give you items that are similar to it. Just using Runes of Havoc or Runes of Redemption are just gonna make you able to get some crazy items that you can slam into your uniques, right? And so that's how you're gonna get your double tier 7s on your gear.
Mm,
Dude, I just thought about something is that MG with the exponential prices of items, you're gonna get like so much gold for free, and you can get those Rune of Havoc so easily in MG because you just do the dungeon and you get like I don't know how many golds you have in MG, but if you play like a lot, like
yeah,
compared to
that's
COF,
yeah. You
Yeah,
can
people
just
have
go.
billions
You
of
can
gold
just
right now,
go
Pilo.
Yeah, true.
Lilas Arbor and just do tier 4s
yeah,
non-stop, 10 million
exactly.
runs like it's nothing. Because every time you sell an idol, it's 300 million. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
you perma sustain like what the fuck? I don't know. Manga.
what about the Woven Echoes? Which ones, aside from the classic, the ones we talked about, Trove and Lost Temple, and which ones are you enjoying? Any of the crafting ones? And
Well, I mean, I pick up basically every 1 LP thing I want to get with higher LP, and then I reroll all of them in the turtle Woven Echo. And I actually get quite lucky sometimes. I get like 3 LP rings or whatever. It's definitely nice to have that like extra thing you can do with your stuff, because like otherwise those 1 LP things would be just useless, right?
yeah.
So that's nice. The turtle is very good, and of
They-
course,
they-
like dividing uniques, rerolling uniques with the other one with the gauntlet, that's also good for that, some stuff like Nihilus. And we basically predicted this, of course. I think people already saw that before the patch. It was easy to see, good for like Nihilus, Omnis, these types of things. So it's nice to have this extra crafting mechanics you can use to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's suddenly things that you would just be complete garbage, especially those items that just even dropping them can be hard. The fact that you can just re-roll them is so powerful, right? Or Nihilises that they're hard to roll in general. Now suddenly, like blah, 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 eventually you have a decent one, right? Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I don't know how you guys are doing it. Like, I'm definitely not doing this in hardcore right now because I mean, just the risk of losing everything. But like, if I was in softcore, I would just set up like one timeline as like a crafting timeline where you just set up. Okay, I have many turtles here, like on one side, and many of these. Maybe the attribute swap, and then this or that, and then you have like this is my crafting timeline, which you never go in, and then you just. When you need to craft something, you just go there because it can be kind of annoying to
crafted already.
yeah, annoying to find a cemetery all the time and then put 1 echo and do this, do that, right? But I feel like this is still like untapped potential and untapped basically, cooking territory as well with all of these woven echoes. Like every day you wake up, you see, oh, there's a new strat. Oh, there's this, there's that, right? So kind of like right now, I'm just farming cemeteries with like Cemetery of Reweaving or with the Sepulchre of the Lost for like idols farming, like all of those Weaver idols. So this is like all kinds of like self-sustaining strategies to specifically target farm one certain type of item is kind of nice. Yeah.
Are you guys using the Nemesis thingy at all? The Filed Fortress, that a lot of Nemesis map? Or
the tower, yeah, it can be useful. Yeah, it can be nice sometimes, and I think people are using that to get like exalted for to imprint also.
Interesting.
You can
So
force like I think the first few, you force your first exalted like that.
Yeah.
So you basically you like empower no matter what, just to see if something stupid pops. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how you get your like really high forging potential, crazy double, triple exalts, right?
Yeah.
I
haven't really used the like the attribute swap one. I haven't really used that too much at all, and I guess I just don't need it on the builds I play.
Yeah, I was gonna use it today, and then I died. So yikes.
Yeah.
It's actually very nice for double exalts, for example, because then it gives you more options, right? If you need like strength and whatever else, you want strength and health, or you want strength and whatever. It's pretty good for that. Basically, like all of these tools are just very much welcomed. I think now, after this season, we're gonna go and be like, how did we play without all of these like Woven Echoes before? You know, they're just gonna be such a big part of the core of the game in the upcoming seasons, I feel, and they're just gonna expand upon it. Maybe give us more Woven Echoes, and then more nodes in the Weaver tree, and yeah, I think it's a really solid foundation.
Yeah, that's the
for
most
the
exciting
future of
thing,
Elite.
no? The fact that you can just tell that they can just add more layers to this so easily.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and they said that they built it for that reason.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like they built it in a way that it's kind of like modular and it's very easy to add to it, right?
yeah.
Mm.
Well, you could even get different pages, right? In the UI, like where you have like the wovens and stuff. Like eventually you can just get like rare ones, boss ones. Like they could do crazy things with this. We haven't talked a lot about idle enchanting at all. Like, is there anything more annoying than idle enchanting? No. Like,
I mean, I don't find it too bad. You can just like spam cemeteries, but you know, it's RNG. So, but it's also
Have
a
you
lot
guys
of power.
gotten have you guys gotten many tier 7s that are actually the ones you want?
I got
Nope.
two tier 7s today that I lost. So I don't have
I usually
them
get
anymore.
T6 and then I'm like happy with the T6, the one I want pretty much. So.
Because those seem pretty rare, and also the movement speed ones seem really rare. I don't know.
The 1x4s.
Yes, the ones on 1x4, just the regular movement speed. I thought it was bugged and not in the game because I did like maybe 100 rerolls before I got my first one.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of bugged things, the fact that we don't have prophecies for the
that's
minor
annoying.
weaver, that like please fix it, bro. I need my double mana idols for Erasing Strike. So.
Yeah, there is this prophecy for Weaver idols that apparently is not working at the moment. It just doesn't drop them. So if they fix that, well, I know a lot of people have complained in my chat. I don't know if you in your guys' chats that people complain about those idols
Every
as being
day.
a bit...
Every day I ask my chat to just mass report the bug, so that hopefully
Mass
it's fixed this
report it.
patch. I don't know, man. Hopefully.
Also, getting to max level Weaver took a while, no? Or maybe it's because I'm hardcore
Yeah.
and I was a bit slower, but took me a while. I was spending all my Ember and
yeah,
everything.
it takes a lot of I think if you do a lot of the strats like spending Amber to buy things and then farming more Amber, I think then it might be quite fast to get to max level. But it's a lot of reputation. You need a lot of XP.
Bro, I feel like it was like 1.5 the time it took me to get to rank 12 COF.
Yeah, like at least double, yeah.
Like at least 50 or double. Like it's crazy. But
I mean,
you
it's
also have
good,
to do
no?
the
It gives
strats
you-
to get the XP for the thing. Yeah.
You keep progressing. The longer you can keep progressing many systems, the better it is, I feel. Yeah.
What
So,
timeline
guys,
are you
what do you
guys
think
farming?
about?
Sorry, Derek?
Okay.
You go,
I
you
was
go.
gonna ask, like,
Yeah.
what do you guys think about the tombs? Do you like running them, or does it feel like dungeons?
I don't mind them as much because there's not that much backtracking. They're always anything that is just a corridor. I like, you know. I go in, I kill, boom. And if you go into a dead end, there's always a chest or something, or a champion, or so. I think they actually done dead ends pretty well on the tombs, because the fact that they have actually made it so the dead ends are always like rooms with a reward. The problem with dungeons is like the dead ends live to fucking deception and sadness only. So I would say they're pretty fun to run. I would wish a bit more variety when it comes to, I don't know, just like they're just the same, no? You've seen one, you've seen them all, kind of, no?
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I think for tombs it's kind of like I don't like the fact that the echo objective marker is the same for a tomb and the actual echo objective. That's one, and then also the fact that this, like, if you go into a tomb and you complete it, it doesn't complete the echo objective. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like I do end up skipping tombs and mostly going for cemeteries because there's also
same.
more enchanting and all that stuff. So
and it's very annoying too that in order to proc ambushes and things like that, because it's based on bonus stability, anything that is based on remaining enemies in the map, because it counts the enemies inside the tomb. If you don't enter the tomb, it's
ambushes are the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah,
now.
like you
It's
you can take 5
crazy.
minutes to fuck. Well, I'm
Like,
exaggerating.
bro, I'm full clearing the map
I
and,
full yeah. And you
yeah.
have to go into the tomb to fucking trigger the thing, and
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I was also comparing it, like I was doing some data collection on what are good strats and stuff, but in the Weaver tree, when I was specking everything for tombs and cemeteries, it was still like way worse than just doing the strat with the shrine map. Like it was like clear difference, and it's not even the same amount of time because like the tombs you can go into dead ends and stuff, whereas the shrine map you just do all the corners and then you do the middle and that's it.
boom. Yeah. I like running Fel's Temple so much. It's just like the same fucking layout.
Yeah.
No matter where you start, you have a good time. The density is fucking crazy. There's tons of shit happening because the shrines. It's just like dopamine.
Yeah.
Like if you farm Temple for an hour and then you go back to anything else,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
It feels so bad.
yeah.
Can we talk
And-
about the new sound effects in the tombs though? When you kill the little eggs, the little freaking whatever they're called.
What
Like
is
they did a lot.
what is the
They
sound
did
like,
some.
Bina? What is the sound like?
I can't do it, but they did some good work with the sound effects
Like-
this patch. I wanted to like really emphasize this a little bit because I've been complaining about sound effects for the longest time, and like everyone knows that I'm a big sound effects enjoyer because there's only so many ways you can interact with a video game. You can look at it and you can hear it, but like I'm not playing with a controller, so I don't have like haptic feedback or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my eyes can look at it. So the game needs to look good, and you can hear it. So the game needs to have good sounds for you to like. It gives you it adds some polish to the game, right? And then those new sound effects are actually really good and give me they make me want to play more. They make me
Yeah.
want to break more eggs and hear those sounds again. It's just like on the topic of sounds, that could make it so that maybe in the future we get sound effects on our loot filter for our filter drops, just like in PoE. I mean,
think sound. We need a think sound.
I think that would just be a net positive for the game. Just more ways of keeping people engaged include having sounds for drops. I think it would be good.
Talking about filters, Bina. Any news on the Bina Blade filters?
Yes, so filters are going to get the massive rework with different levels of strictness. I am still waiting on the actual tools to do it, but basically, before what's going to happen in the next few days, so we should have filters this week. So before, I wasn't the one actually coding everything, right? Because I don't code. But now, with the new tools that we're going to have, I'll be able to adjust the filters on the fly at any time. So if there's ever another patch like this one, which introduces like uniques or something, or like something that changes, I'll be able to change the filters immediately rather than having to wait on someone else to do it, and Maxroll, multiple branches and stuff like that. So yeah, basically, more filters are coming with different levels of strictness, with different for different purposes. Leveling, end game, strict, uber plus, strict, plus.
Trade,
Like,
non-trade, I assume, right? Or I just want to see the build. I don't want to see stuff from other classes, all that.
yes, but we're not gonna have anything for trade because we don't have anything to fetch the data from the market, really. And
Yep.
I would need to update that all manually. So there's not gonna be any trade filter, but there's going to be different levels of strictness that will show you different, different items, and then obviously fetching all of the affixes from the planner directly into all the proper rules, which is going to be a huge time saver for any planner that you plan on making.
Because at the moment, basically, we do have rules that are not for the build itself, but it shows things that are really valuable for other S tier builds in Maxroll and stuff like that. And a lot of people get confused, right? And they think, what the fuck, my filter is showing Sentinel stuff. And they don't realize that if it's showing Sentinel stuff, it's probably really good stuff, right? And again, they don't want to disable the rules themselves. So you're just going to basically do that, right? You're going to give that option straight up, and people are going to click what version of the filter they want, and boom, boom, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Poggers, big W in the chat for Bina's blade. Bina's black hole.
Bina's black blade.
Oh shit, I want to see that one.
I think something that is said in chat by MML is Mike said that he is not a fan of sound in loot filter, but
Mhm.
there's one thing is that what the devs are fan of or not, um, it doesn't. I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't really matter in the end for something as small as sounds in a loot filter, because it's a huge thing in the ARPG community. And then we've already seen them change their opinion on,
On
well, not
everything.
their opinion,
On
but change their
everything.
stance on trade and non-trade and online and offline and all these things. That I think that this is a subject that they cannot win, and like the vast majority of players would just like to have the option to have a like sounds tied to their drops. um Even if you don't want to use it, like having the option is always a win, right?
Yeah.
So
And I feel like they're developing the game in such a pace now where everything is so crazy that they're forced to go out of their original vision because the game has evolved past their original vision. Like, if you tell me like 2 years ago that the devs are gonna add a loot filter option where you can specifically filter a unique item with a specific LP, I would have told you you're crazy. And they just added like without much resistance. Actually, they just did it, and they you can find clips of Mike on dev stream saying we will never filter only for uniques, we will never filter only for LP, we will never do that because at that point you only see the loot you want, blah blah blah. And look at it now. And again, let's be
but
honest,
then
if we didn't have
then you
that,
have,
you couldn't see the fucking floor. So they, you know,
yeah, because now they have prophecies, and you have like,
yeah,
if you fill all your prophecies only for ring drops on Jolra,
yeah,
and then you kill Jolra once and you don't have the loot filter on, what happens?
yeah,
The screen is not big enough to even show all the items,
yeah. And there's probably
Yeah.
different opinions in the team. Keep in mind, we only really hear Mike's opinions vocally on stream. And I know I've met Mike in real life. Derek has also, and I've talked with some
Yep.
topics with the guy where he might agree with me in some topics, but some other people in the studio don't. And at the end of the day, I think they probably have a lot of internal discussions and debates about should we do this, should we not do this, blah blah blah. And I think eventually, if they listen to the players are happy. There are some things that they need to be careful about listening to. They need to be slowly adding these things because then they cannot take them out. But so far it's been working. No, people are happy. People like the patch. I don't know.
Yeah.
It all circles down to what we said in the beginning. This is probably the best patch Ellie ever had in its life.
Yeah.
Even surpassing the patch that we got, the legendary crafting system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So-
Speaking of like patches, do you guys think the next patch is gonna be another 9 months away, or hopefully it's gonna be more like 4 months? What do you guys think?
I have a palpitation. I think it's September, bro.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so also.
Yeah, I hope as well.
Yeah.
I think it's September.
Yeah, I think they won't mess this one up. I think it's gonna be. I mean, they were already working on it before this patch probably
Yeah,
launched.
yeah,
Like
that's what
some
they
people
said.
were. So
Well, you guys gotta keep
yeah.
in mind that they were gonna do 1.2 earlier, but they decided to postpone because different things, and they realized that 1.1 was a fucking disaster, like everyone else predicted except them. And they had plans for 1.2 that didn't make it for 1.3 for this 1.2, right? For example, the Primal Hunt, right? Which is supposed to be some sort of like bossing hunting thingy. My guess, and this is completely out of my ass, I think it's gonna be so very Monster Hunter inspired, where you kind of like you kill different bosses, different monsters, and they drop ingredients, and you can combine them to make like weapons and kind of like Monster Hunter kind of thing. And those are gonna be what they call the primal uniques. Primal, beast. That metamorphosis kind of like that's kind of what I'm hinting of. And if that is the system, imagine if these primal hunts, they're just like for example, imagine if the dragon that we already have in game, the cold and fire dragon that you fight in the monolith, and the queen, the Drow queen, the big buck that you can also kill in the woman echoes, Like I could imagine they could just do a bunch of this, where they just put creatures, put them on woven echoes, or put them on like hunt zones or whatever the fuck, right? And just like that, you have another endgame system. And I wouldn't be surprised if if the next patch, if it's gonna be in September, it can't be much more than that, right? Like there's no way we're getting skill sigils, right? No way for in September, right?
September would make it 5 months though.
Yeah, the thing is like the patch has to be pretty big. Like I feel like this patch is like a perfect size, but can they do this patch size in 4 months, 5 months? I mean, we'll see, I guess. But you need to have enough content in a patch to actually, have it be exciting. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able. I don't think next patch is gonna be as big as this one. Basically,
It can't be. It can't be. Like it can't be. And again, from the things we know that they're missing, we're missing primal bullshit, right? We're missing obviously some pinnacle bosses. We haven't fought the woven. I assume that could come. I could see that coming also. We haven't fought Orobis. There's also a campaign. There's also a campaign episode coming, right? We're supposed to have the campaign in the ancient era, which I assume it will be linked. They're always very smart, the devs. They develop the ancient era, and then because they're developing mobs for the ancient era, then they do big ancient monsters for it. So they're creating the campaign episode as they are creating the what is it called, the other stuff, like the endgame stuff. Yeah, the primal hunt. And I think I've talked with some of the data miners, and they've told me that they actually accessed some of the new maps. I never saw them, but apparently there is stuff in the game data already regarding the new maps and the new campaign. So again, if anyone is an expert data miner that wants to go dig and, I don't know, show it to the world, I'm pretty sure there's info there. I have not seen it really, but I could say we're probably gonna get that, right? We're gonna get a new campaign, primal stuff, and maybe a couple more bosses, maybe.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Primal
And eventually more Uber bosses and stuff, and then it's gonna be great, man.
So anyone wants to take a wild guess then? When do you guys expect patch?
I would say August, maybe September, but September has some other games also, so maybe they want to avoid it.
August would be pretty POC, no school, big,
Start of August would be amazing. Start of August.
I'm getting hot in here. It will be ideal.
I'm gonna say November, just as a safe.
Holy Tarek, the Frenchie, had to fuck it all again.
November.
I mean, just.
Like, you can't be disappointed if you know.
It's true.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
If they release it sooner than November, fine. I'm happy, but I'm not expecting
Well, anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up, or say something?
I mean, is there anything to say? We said many things, and I think it was a good podcast, and it was nice to once again be on the podcast with the boys.
Hey, next week another one. Who knows? Maybe we try to get.
I do think we should do this like fairly often. I do think we should do this weekly. Actually, I mean it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Lots of things have happened since the start of the patch. Actually, and who knows? In the next week, maybe new strats, new builds, new stuff, new things to talk about.
Yeah, maybe like every release, like we do that for a few weeks.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am looking forward to hear what you guys done over the week.
Yes, boss.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss. Yeah.
10 new leveling builds, insane.
Insanity.
And again, if anyone wants to see me dance, you know what to do. I'm looking for that mage kill on non-meta. Do it. Boom. All right. Thank you guys for watching, I guess, and everyone say bye. Bye.
GG.
All right, GG, guys.
Bye.
And the recording is over.